As we start every show, Big Sills. Oh, hey, Big Sills. What a time, man. 9 days to the NFL draft. 9 days to the NFL draft. I mean, there are so many great storylines in sports right now. Never in a million years would I've ever have said this. I'm going to watch the WNBA draft. And I did last night because of Caitlin Clark. By the way, I didn't realize that she's only going to make for the next 4 years $330,000 base salary. She should take that Ice Cube deal. We had Cube on yesterday, and he talked about it. Cube offered her $5 million to play in the league for 1 year. Why wouldn't you take that deal? $330,000 versus $5 million. Now she's going to make a boatload of money in advertising. You know, she made more money at Iowa than she's going to make in the WNBA. She made last year over $1 million in NIL. This year she's going to make $70,000 base salary. It was worth it to go back to college for 1 year. Think about that. She's appointment-setting television. That's what you're talking about. Now, the question with that will be, how long will that last? Is she going to go into the WNBA? Many people think that she's going to go and struggle. Well, like every other rookie does. I don't think she's going to go in and dominate the league. But people are going to want to watch it. I know I am. I've never watched a WNBA game in my life. But I'm going to watch an Indiana game because she's in it. I thought it was wonderful. All right. So it's been like 24 hours since I said something about the Devontae Smith / A.J. Brown relationship and how this new contract could affect the relationship, more so with the team than with each other. Philly not paying two $25 million wide receivers. 304. Right? They're not paying two wide receivers $25 million. Not for another 3 years. Absolutely true. They're not. They're not. You're right. Okay? But here, I don't know about you. I was just talking to Xander. Somebody at my company or your company or whomever you were out producing was making the same money as you. Wouldn't you have a bitch? I would. You're not paid for championships in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is a prime example of that. Kyler Murray's a prime example of that. Josh Allen's a prime example of that. Lamar Jackson's a prime example of that. You're not paid for titles. You're paid for numbers. Jalen Hurts is not paid for winning championships. Got close once. The other 2 years, not nearly as close. Dak Prescott is another example of that. You do not get paid for winning titles in the NFL. Facts. Look at the quarterbacks. Look at the receivers. Every big-time wide receiver that has big-time deals has never won a championship. Kupp did and Tyreek did before they got their big money. But the other guys, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, those guys aren't close to winning titles at all. Okay? Facts. Facts. You win with numbers. So I went on my Twitter and everyone's like, why are you trying to break up the team? Why are you saying that there'll be bad blood between? there won't be any bad blood between, but A.J. Brown has a bitch. If you think $25 million is the value of what Devontae Smith has brought to the Philadelphia Eagles, what is the price tag that you think A.J. Brown is worth? He's outplayed his contract in Philly. When does he go and get his new numbers? This is about, get this, when you guys, and I see LJ, nobody gives a fuck about the cap number when you're a player. What does that have to do with my direct deposits? Nothing. Zero. Nobody cares when you're a player what the cap hit is. Nobody gives a shit about it. How much am I making? All I care about. Cap hit. You think A.J. Brown gives a shit what the cap hits are for Devontae Smith or himself? No. No one cares when you're a player. A.J. Brown is going to want more money, and rightfully so. I'm on his side here. Sills, pause the show. Where's the Reddick deal? Why do you think the Eagles are moving away from defense? A Philly staple for a long time. 34. Good call. Where's the Reddick deal in New York? Wow, that was some trade. It's still to come. Okay, wake me up when it comes. Hey, man, no football player who's being paid in the National Football League right now gives a shit about cap hits. Nobody cares. AJ's going to go like this. If you think that guy is worth $25 million, how much do you think I'm worth? By the way, when you're talking money, that has nothing to do with Devontae and A.J. Brown's relationship. It has nothing to do with it. But yet what people have said is, on my Twitter page, at Dan Sileo Show, they're like, oh, you're trying to create an issue. But no, my money has nothing to do with you. But you set the market price now for the Eagles. You think what that guy has done is worth $25 million. There is no question that guy's a $30 million wide receiver now. He deserves a $5 million a year bump. When did the Eagles address that? When do they address that? When? Well, the cap hits. Who gives a shit? What am I making? Why is he making as much as me when I do more than him? Why? Correct. Pay me more. If I'm A.J. Brown, I demand my agent contact them immediately and ask what they're going to do about my contract. We got 2 years left. I don't give a shit. I want you to pay me more money than him. Anybody in the NFL that's a player understands that. The quarterbacks do. Here's why. Address what? RTF. Why is he making the same money for me as me when I do more than him? We play the same position. Quarterbacks, every year, they get upped. Whether it's Justin Herbert, he makes more than Jalen. Lamar made more than Jalen. Burrow made more than Jalen. Why isn't it AJ's turn? Are you not going to address it? Okay? Look at LJ. Oh, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, honey. Settle down, gossip girl. This guy has no idea what he has zero credibility with me. Zero. Because all he does is he's like the Joker. He just wants to see shit burn down, even if he's wrong. It doesn't matter. It's okay, honey. It's okay, sweetheart. So get this. BJ doesn't believe that a guy who has done more than the next guy on a football team, who's outperformed him, who just got a brand new contract, doesn't deserve to have his contract redone. Oh, okay. It's not drama, man. That's how the world works in the NFL. Quarterbacks get new contracts all the time. So do wide receivers. You're gauged in this league by your numbers and your salary, not by how many championships you win. Actually, this is the only conversation that championships don't matter. Wide receivers, it doesn't matter if you're a winner or a loser, because you're going to make your money if you're one of the elite guys. Okay? Get this. Ty goes like this. That's only Sileo watching other players' money. So let me tell you what this guy doesn't know. Hang on for a second. I want to get something for you. I'm going to get this. Don't mean to leave the screen. But let me get this for you. I'll show you why Ty's full of shit. Do you know what this is? I am a member of the National Football League Player Association. For life. For life. And do you know what this organization says? Do you know what it says? Don't ever take pay cuts. And when anybody on your football team makes more money, demand more, because you're looking out for the guy next in line to make more money. I'm not the only one. The Players Association does that. Everybody in the league does that. The only people that don't do that are the stupid fans, like Ty. Okay? Get your money. Hollywood. You're damn right. RTF, you're damn right. Hey, RTF. Just curious. You got one of these? Hey, BJ, you got one of these? BJ, you got one of these? Dude, anyone can be on the NFLPA. Not with former player up there, dickhead. Ty, the former player. Anybody can be. And let's just show you how stupid that guy Ty is. You know how get this. In 108 years of pro football, only 26,000 men have held a card like that. Anybody can? Really? Really? You don't know what you're talking about, son. A.J. Brown should get more money. I want him to. Underdog fans don't understand it's a job for these athletes. Correct. They think it's about going and playing in Philly. It's got nothing to do with it. Correct, dude. And here, watch this. Thanks for the $2. You just printed a card on your old printer. Okay. Yeah, probably so. Sure. No problem, LJ. Sure. Here, I probably printed this one too. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, this one's nice too, Xander. This one's nice too. Get to go to lifetime pass to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Big Sills down there, bottom. I'm sure you got one of those too, Ty. Got this one here too, right? Yeah, I showed you that one already. It's not that big a deal. What else do I got in here? Surely I got something else in here. Let's see. Do I got my I don't know where my NFL alumni card is. Oh, I know where it is. It's right here. My NFL alumni card. I got that somewhere too. I'm sure you got one of those too, right? The point is bringing those out. Players do look out for one another. Smith, 4 voidable years till 2032. Credit card Howie. It's a constructed deal that's as spectacular as ever. You have a laminator at home. Me too. I don't even know what a laminator is. Hey, dude. Okay, they're phony. They're phony. Okay. Sure. LJ, I'm sure you think that because most media people hate that. AJ won't get a raise. Lamb, Chase, etc. get paid. I think AJ Brown should. I do. All right. Let's move on and get into some of the topics here. RG3 is a prime example of showing you how a guy who covers a football team has no. Oh, before I continue, we're also going to do a little business in the draft of what possible moves I see the Eagles potentially making to improve the already shitty defense. But RG3 posted something that the Eagles have the best roster in the NFL. Let me see how many people believe that the Philadelphia Eagles have the best roster in the NFL. Let me hear you say that. Or your take on it. This ought to be interesting. How many people believe the Eagles have the best roster in the NFL? B. Costello, one of the best. We have the best offense in the NFL only. Us and the whiners. Blowjob says. We have the best team in football, DRC says. Best offense. Funny, where was that thing last year? But hey, that was last year. Best fantasy roster. Looks like Dream Team 2.0 to me. Best NFL, hands down. F no. Offensively, yes. Ernest. Some people in here have a brain. We have no defense. Eagles, 13-4. What happened last year? Same team. Okay? All right. How can you have we have no defense? Marshall, let me go here with you. You have not upgraded your defense. You have not. And I'll ask you this. What is RG3 looking at? You were 26th in total defense. You were 31st against you were the second worst pass defense in pro football. 10th in rushing defense, which is good, even with the meltdown at the end of the year. You were 30th in scoring defense. So let me get this right. You were the second worst pass defense in pro football. You were the 26th worst defense in pro football. You were the 30th worst scoring defense in pro football. How do you have the best roster in the league with lesser players on defense? Nakobe Dean and Devin White? These were bums. Gardner Johnson's not going to make that much of a difference. Your corners suck. What is RG3 talking about when you're talking about defense and roster? Now, to go, Nakobe Dean is a bust. And you got him in your start. This is the second year in a row that the Philadelphia Eagles have penciled in a bust as a starter at linebacker. It's the second year in a row that you have penciled in a bust. There's no way that guy's going to play in this league. And he's your Mike linebacker or inside linebacker because they're going to a 34. Look at here, Kenny, you know nothing. I know this. Nakobe Dean sucks. And they penciled him in as a starter. You signed a guy who wasn't even a starter on the Jets. Where are you upgraded? What is he talking about? And I agree with many of you. I think their offense has a lot of talent on it. But that led to nothing last year. Oh, and I know it's coaching. Okay. So the good players on your team and all the money you spent couldn't overcome a bad coach. Okay. Hey, okay, I'll bite. Hollywood's right. Trash Dean gets pushed all over the field. We don't know how he's going to look in a 34 compare. 34 is worse for linebackers because you have to take guards on. You're covering the guards instead of a tackle in front of you. Get this. This guy just said, do you know how a 34 operates? The two inside linebackers are lined up in a 3 and a 2 technique, and you're lined up over guards head up. Nakobe Dean is going to be lined up over an NFL guard instead of having a tackle in front of him. Good luck. He's a schwimp. You think that guy could take on Landon Dickerson and 17 Landon Dickersons? Get the hell out of here. Got to be crazy. That's right. Anthony's right. Dean won't be able to get through practice. You're lucky that the Eagles don't practice hard. Okay? Vic getting us linebackers. No, he's not. You're going to start, get this, you're going to start trash can players on defense and rookies at linebacker. Good luck. This just shows you that the national guys have no, get this, here's Steve in his blindness. Dean is completed last year. We need to see more. It'd be nice if you could see more if he could ever stay on the field. He can't even get through mini camps. Let's meet up front in a 34. Dean can't play in a 4-3. He'll get destroyed in a 34. Marshall's exactly. Nakobe Dean will be destroyed, and so will Devin White. He's awful against again, not to go back over this again. Where's RG3 seeing best roster with those numbers? Where? Only way RG3 sees us as the best roster is if he got a copy of the script, and otherwise, I don't see it yet. Trent Williams will give Dean a chalk line. Let me throw this at you, though. Let me play the other side. Someone said this. Who said this yesterday? How will the Eagles become a top 10 defense in one offseason? Ain't happening, fans. Be lucky to get in top 20 to 24 range. That's absolutely correct. Now, somebody made this comment yesterday. Okay? And I'm going to throw this out there to you. And see, I don't get it. However, maybe the NFL is trying to tell you something with all these rule changes that you don't really have to spend. How many teams spend a lot of money on defense? Let's go around the league for a minute. San Francisco spends a ton of money on defense. Kansas City doesn't really. Got a great coach. Does Detroit? The Ravens? Steelers? It's the only way the Steelers are winning, right? Is because of that defense. I mean, hey, RTF, Steelers basically have what the Eagles have, but it's on defense, right? Fair enough. Okay, right? Yeah, that's their defense is kind of like their offense because they really don't have anything there. Seals, do you trust Fangio? It's not that I don't trust him. It's what has he done for me to go, that's exceptional. And with the talent that you don't have, he's supposed to come in there with a scheme and fix it with that. And that talent, there's not enough talent over there. Imagine Dean and Zach Martin and Smith from Dallas. Zach Martin will destroy Nakobe Dean. You won't have to worry about Dean playing against the Cowboys because he won't make it there. He's not, one, good enough. The league is telling you defense is a luxury, especially with all the rule changes on defense. You don't need a great defense. All you need is an okay defense to win. So is that what we're doing here? Okay, is that what we're doing here? The Eagles just want to get in what? Top 15? The 20th? Because it has to be a thought process on why you're not doing anything over there. And when you get a national guy like RG3, okay, and he's making a comment from Mount High, he's not looking at how awful they were last year. Okay? Patrick Queen is nearly identical in size to Dean. Roquan Smith is 2 inches taller and about the same weight. Both of those LBs played well in the 34. And both of those guys are pretty healthy players. Dean's never, ever healthy. He couldn't even get out of training camp. Okay? Big Sills will be Eagles. Hey, I got a better chance of being the head coach than that laughing stock. Just absolutely laughing stock. RG3 smarter than Sills by far? Really? Hey, Ty, you might want to tell him to slide. Might have helped his career. Slide. Might have kept him in the league longer. Slide. Hey, RG3, slide. Maybe that may help you a bit. Yeah, real smart. Let me take this guy on and blow my knee out. Congratulations. Well thought out. Right. Well thought out. Okay? Well thought out. Big Sills, you think if Dean doesn't physically look better, that it's already an indication he's done? I think depending on what they do in the draft, in the upcoming draft, is going to predicate a lot of things. Okay? That's right. Hey, RTF. Hey, RG3. Dual threat. Dual threat. Bye-bye. Dual threat. He wanted to be a passer too. Dual threat. What happened to him? That guy broke like paper mache. Dual threat. Dual threat. I can't do it again. Yes, sir. I'm more nervous about Nolan. And hey, I forgot about the other guy. Nolan Smith is going to get reps in Hassan Reddick's role. Hey, SOS. Titanic went down this week, right? SOS. The USS, the Kobe Dean, and the USS Nolan Smith have collided. They ran into each other in pass coverage, and they're sinking at the head. What's the next ship close to us? The Carpathians, 3 hours. Holy shit, we're sinking. Get the lifeboats out. We don't have enough on defense, Vic. Help me out. Vic, we're the lifeboats. I only got 4. Hey, Vic, there's not enough lifeboats. Dean and Smith will prove Sills wrong just in the nick of time. Kobe's been on a team 3 fucking years. Holy cow, guy. Hey, he'll get there. Really, guy? Thank God no one's hey, dude. Hey, thank God no one's punching you in the face. This guy's taking 3 headshots, and he's like, hey, I'll take another. Hey, he's injured. No shit. Kenny, 13-4. You know what? Every time a dickhead like Kenny puts 13-4 up, you laugh your ass off. What's that got to do with anything? All I care about is 1-0. That's winning the Super Bowl. 13-4 don't mean shit, dude. Hell, you won 11 games last year. You won 14 the year before. You know what you got for it? In Italian, it's a famous word called ungats. These nuts. Comedian? This ain't funny. Best roster in the league. And my company put it up there. We've got the best roster in the league. Okay. Wonderful. JAKIB actually put that tweet up. I'm like, you know what? Kansas City Chiefs don't have the best roster in the league. They just got the best player in the league. And the best head coach and the best DC. That's all they need to beat the best roster in the NFL. That's all they need. They need 3 people. You need 100. No, what is it? What is it? $98.6 million and 3 players. 98.6. Sounds like an FM station in Philly. 98.6. Yes, this is the station of Devontae in the middays. Afternoons with AJ, and in the mornings, Jalen Hurts. We play the crappiest 80s music. Classic 80s. Oh, man. Almost $100 million and 3 dudes. I hope you win. Isn't it funny, all the great quarterback teams, they're not spending money like drunken sailors right now? How you doing? All right, man. Best roster. Hey, RG3, slide. I might have had more respect for you if you slid. But since you didn't and you destroyed your career, you know, I don't know if you're really qualified to tell me a team that was 26th in total defense and didn't upgrade and lost their best player in the offseason and 30th in scoring and second worst pass defense in the league. That's the best roster. Right. Okay. Twiz, Dean All-Pro. It's same people were doing this shit last year. I told you wouldn't make the year. How about this? The Kobe Dean will be on IR by week 3. Nolan Smith by week 5. Hey, wait. Xander, watch this one. Here's what we have. Okay, yeah, I got you. Hold on here. Let me see. Let me see here. N'Kobe Dean will be on IR by IR. I'm going to write these down and keep them. N'Kobe, week 3. IR rest of the year. Nolan Smith, week 5. Saquon, week 7. Bradbury, week 12. And Slay by probably week 12 or 13, too. He's an old guy. You know, the old guy's going to hit that, too. And Lane's going to miss a couple games. Always does. Right? And no up gains. Where'd they upgrade on defense? All-pro Nolan Smith, 20 sacks. Book it. You sound like a Cowboy fan. Hey, Kenny, you sound ignorant. Dean won't even play. That's more like it. Hey, Flexen doesn't agree with me, but even he knows. Defense is better with 10 men on the field. Hey, Hollywood Hogan is going, I'd rather go out and fight the Niners and the Cowboys with 10 guys than 11 with that guy on the field. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay? Marcus, your hate for the Eagles is repulsive. You know what's repulsive? Doing the same shit over and over again and hoping to get a different result. Your team is frustrating, not bad. I goof on them because it's frustrating. Just get out of the way, man. Let the coaches draft the players. Not you, Howie. Roseman and Associates are awesome. They are awesome, Roseman and Associates. At putting contracts and cap management together, Roseman and Associates, best law firm in National Football League. Okay? Sometimes with me, Flexing, I'm just, go along with me, will you, man? Draft Chop and Edgerrin, trade for Sertan, defense shirt up. Okay, my show's over. Hey, Xander, put that up. Put that up there with Q. Okay? Draft Chop and Edgerrin, trade for Sertan, defense shirt up. Okay, good night, my show's done. Okay, it's over. Q, you just ended my show. Great, thanks. I got another 2.5 hours. It's over now. Q, Mike, that would work. That would work. Absolutely. That would work, man. Seals, you gave his flowers yesterday. Now you're bad-mouthing him. Anthony, no. You didn't listen. I said Roseman and Associates are the best at contract and cap management of any team in the league. When it comes to drafting, he blows, especially on defense. I've never changed my position, and I won't. Okay? You better hide your face, Sileo, when the Eagles are crushing it. Well, you got no other way but not to crush it, because if you don't, I'm going to demand everyone fired. General manager, head coach, coordinators, quarterback, everyone goes. Everyone. You can't spend the amount of money that you spent. You can't put the draft equity that you have on offense on one side of the ball. And if you don't, you're finished. There's nothing else to do. You'll never win a Super Bowl with that quarterback if you don't do it this year. You'll never. Ever. See, you got two things that are wrong. You got the wrong signal caller and you got the wrong head coach. And until that changes, you're not winning. Oh, you'll win your 14 games, 11 games, 12 games. Get bounced in the opening round. What would it have mattered? Actually, what did the 14 win season matter? Nothing. Well, unless you're celebrating silver medals in Philly. Last year, you got bounced in the. You won 25 games in 2 years. 25 games in 2 years. And you have nothing to show for it except high payroll. Wrong? Am I wrong? Hey, Joe, just like Cousins, what's the point? What's the point? If Kirk Cousins ain't taking you to a championship game and you're paying him $10, $15 million less than Jalen Hurts, what's the point of paying Hurts 50? If he's not going to take you to a Super Bowl win, what's the point? Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but we should have beaten Kansas City. Okay. I guess that's in there's fiction books and nonfiction books in libraries. Okay. And you got to determine when you're reading a book and what you're looking at with your football team. Mahomes is on another level. Yeah, but that roster's not. So you mean to tell me that Patrick Mahomes is so good? By the way, Matthew Stafford won one the year before. I wouldn't constitute him as being 2 years before. Matthew Stafford had won a Super Bowl. Would anybody on the planet suggest that Matthew Stafford's a Hall of Fame quarterback? He's a better version of Kirk Cousins. Right? Matthew Stafford's a better version of Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl in the last 3 years. He's nobody to write home about. He's not going to the Hall of Fame. Here, let me see something here. What's Matthew Stafford's overall record as a starting quarterback in the NFL? Okay, so Matthew Stafford is 98-107 with one tie. What's Kirk Cousins' overall record as a starting quarterback in the National Football League? He's 76-67. So you're telling me if Cousins had Sean McVay, he'd win a Super Bowl? Well, chips and birds. They got Chris Jones in Kansas City too. He got a ring. He had one win in Detroit. In theory, Jared Goff is actually outplaying what Stafford did. So my question to you is, Matthew Stafford wasn't anybody to write home about. He's a good player. He's a better version of Cousins. You can win with Cousins because you can win with Stafford. Matthew Stafford's career was considered over in Detroit. He had one playoff win. He was 1-3. 1-3. And actually, Jared Goff helped take that team to an NFC championship game against the San Francisco 49ers. What's the difference? Coaching. Give Kurt a better coach. No? Give him Aaron Donald too. Nope. Just curious here. They got a different situation in Detroit now. Yeah, better coaching. Better coaching. Better GM with Brad Holmes. Management is in line with it for the first time and not trying to run it like Ford Motor Company. Right. Los Angeles has the best coaching of any team in the NFC. And McVay's record dictates that. See, Sean McVay is dictated by his resume on how far his teams go, how good he is with quarterbacks. Okay? This guy turned around Baker Mayfield. This guy helped golf get to a Super Bowl. And this guy turned around Matthew Stafford's career. Joshua Sills thinks Howie blows at drafting. Anthony, name me one corner he's drafted that made the Pro Bowl. You can't. He's never. He's never. Name me one linebacker he's drafted that's made a Pro Bowl. He's never. He's never. Okay? Stafford is better than Nick Foles. One thing about Nick, he's got a lot of Eli in him. You put that dude on a roll, he's a freight train. Stafford can make mistakes. Foles is on a roll, he's deadly, man. Something about that guy. You put him in a high-powered situation, I don't know, man. Nick Foles? That's why the Eagles are heavy in off-season free agents, because Howie can't draft for shit. Joshua, that's right. And they believe in Band-Aids on defense. And they believe in addressing all the offense and tying up all their money. I would say the majority of their salary cap right now is all tied up. What do you think the percentage of the money when it comes to the Eagle salary cap? What do you think? 80% of that money is tied up in offense? 2 receivers, tight end, the entire offensive line, quarterback, running back. There's no money invested at all in linebackers. You have no money invested at all in your defensive front seven. You have 2 corners you've invested in getting no return on, and your safety position has no money in it, Gardner Johnson. So you really have no money at all invested on defense. You're never going to give anybody a contract extension on that side of the ball. Whereas you've given, look how many people in this offseason alone you've given contract extensions to. Mulata, Dickerson, Devontae. You're not giving contract extensions to any of those shit boxes over on the other side. It's an offensive league. Well, tell that to Kansas City, because Kansas City won that Super Bowl against San Francisco because of their defense and stopping and stopping what they're doing, quite frankly, over on that defensive side of the football when they dropped Purdy down and they went and got that job against the 49er offense. Okay? Defense doesn't win championships no more. Offense does. What happened last year then, King? Shaq Leonard, perfect example of a Band-Aid last year. That's correct. They tried to fix it with a Band-Aid. And they tried to duplicate what they did with Linval Joseph and with Ndamukong Suh. Lurie doesn't value defense. He wants points. Well, that becomes frustrating when you can't put up more than 10 against the Bucs in a playoff game, doesn't it, Twiz? Now, Joshua brings a great point up. Do you think the strategy changes now that Fangio's on board? Free agency-wise, it hasn't. Okay? Okay? So it's what the owner wants. Okay? That's what the owner wants. The owner's not going to get a Super Bowl. C Spagnuolo is just a great DC. He is. He totally. Many teams made plays for him. There were actually, Kansas City said there were 4 or 5 teams, including the 49ers, that made a play for him to become the defensive coordinator and wanted to pay him more. And that's why Kansas City upped his salary and gave him more money. They got great coaching. They got great coaching, great quarterback play, They got a great general manager. It's very like Philly doesn't have all those checks, those boxes checked. Not at all. They got a great DC. They got a great head coach, play caller, head coach, and they got a great general manager. And they got a spectacular quarterback. Absolutely. That nobody wanted in the draft. They wanted Deshaun Watson and Mitchell Trubisky over him. Think about that. Or maybe it was Jameis Winston. People were saying Jameis Winston and Deshaun Watson over Mahomes. And John Dorsey's like, no, I don't think so. This guy's the guy. All right. You know what we're going to do right now? We're going to do some business now in the draft. In what makes the most sense for them to do. I've written down a couple projected deals and some deals that I've seen. Sills, would you have traded Smitty and AJ away for 2 firsts, 2 seconds, grab a wide receiver in the draft and address all the defense with all the needs? No, I'm not trading both of them away. I would have traded Devontae Smith away before I traded AJ. AJ's a better player and more productive, even with his bitchy whining. He's still a better player. To me, I look at Devontae Smith. I don't know. He's kind of T. Higgins to me. And I know 304 loves CD. Okay, he's kind of like, because every time Jalen Hurts has had him on the field and AJ's not been there, it's really been a non-starter for the offense. Like the Buccaneer game was atrocious with those two. Did Smitty play in that game even? How many yards did he have in that game? Did he play? Did Devontae Smith play in that Buccaneer playoff game? I mean, I don't remember. Did he? Because I know AJ didn't. And AJ was doing – he had 110 yards receiving. Devontae Smith had 110 yards in that game. He had 109. Wow. For a team that didn't score 10 points, I didn't see it. Must have been completely get this. He went off in a 31-9 game. That's what somebody said. Because you were behind the entire game. Oh, I didn't notice him because you guys were getting destroyed. I didn't realize he had 100 yards. Talk about a non-factor. How could you have 100 yards and you're non-factor in a 31-9 ass pounding? He was cooking? What? He had no impact in that game. Think about that. He had 100 yards and no impact. Neither did Hurts. Zero impact. The Bucs the week before couldn't score 10 points against Carolina, and they put 31 on you. Yeah. Woo! AJ didn't play. No matter how – hey, Devontae Smith could have had 200 yards in that playoff game, and it wouldn't have mattered. He still got destroyed. He had 100 yards. Holy cow, it was like a Kirk Cousins 100 yards. And the rest of the team. Oh, yeah, that great defense that RG3 says you have the best roster. Oh, okay. Hey, dude, your offense did too, Prince. You scored 9 points. Prince, you scored 9 points. All right, let's do this. Let's get away from that. I got some moves here. First and foremost, what do you want to do with that 20-second pick? You want to move it, okay? Write that down. I'm warming up to that 11-17, moving it, okay? Did you watch the game? We should have been the play callers. Oh, I know. The players quit. And it's the coach's fault. I know. Okay, Prince. You suck at your job because your boss sucks at his, is what he's saying. So, folks, if you work for a shitty boss, he's telling you not to play and work as hard because his boss doesn't work as hard. So you just follow along with your shitty boss. And you shouldn't put a good work effort in and show that you're better than what's around you. Okay, Prince, I remember that. So if your boss sucks, you should suck right along with him and not give effort. Okay. I would never do that. Care what it is. Somebody sucks, you're going to lay up and go, well, he don't care, so I shouldn't. What a loser attitude. Holy cow. Not me. Some dude that's horrible next to me, that's his boat he's in. Not me. Hurts gave up too. He did too. Yes, he did. He quit too. Oh, but because Sirianni and everyone sucked, Hurts should quit. You paying a guy $50 million for that shit? And to mope on the sidelines? Really? Sills knows you have a good game and still lose and get blown out. Sills should have. Hey, Philly, you got to play your best even when you lose. You know what I mean? You got to play your best. You can't just quit because one guy threw 7 picks. What the hell would Jerome and I have done? We're not going to quit because one guy's playing poorly. That's not going to happen. We were not going to let that happen. You don't play poorly like that because one guy's not playing well. That's a loser culture mentality. You just can't. They all quit. Okay? $50 million for a one-read quarterback who quit. Okay? This is coming from someone who said your coach put you in a bad situation, which is why you didn't work out in the NFL. Okay, Sills? Fair enough, Prince. Fair enough. And Prince, I was at fault for that. That was my fault. No one else's fault. It was my fault. Yes. My fault. You're right, Prince. Thanks for remembering. You're right. I should have been bigger. Yeah. Hey, Sills, I bet you wasn't even a starter. I was the 56th player taken in an NFL draft, buddy. Let me guess. You were like, what? Let me guess. The star guy in your neighborhood cul-de-sac, and you hurt your knee in your senior year in high school, and you were 17th team all county or something in Hoboken. And, you would have had your shot, but hey, fuck it. Just didn't work out for you. Is that right? So don't act like it can't happen. Okay? I think it's fair enough. Supplemental draft, LJ says. Yeah, and so was Reggie White taken in a supplemental draft. So I guess Reggie sucked too. Okay. Just took a shit on Reggie. Reggie was a supplemental pick. Reggie White was a supplemental draft. He didn't go in a regular draft. So he sucked too? Steve Young? Those guys suck too? Ah. So LJ just took a shit on the greatest player. No. Look at him changing it now, bro. Reggie's a GOAT. No, you said I was taken in the supplemental draft. I said so was Reggie White. You downplayed the supplemental draft. Chris Carter was in my draft, and I was taken ahead of him. LJ took a shit on Reggie White because he was a supplemental pick. Damn. Hey, you have to say, Reggie, I mean, hey, MG2, you can flip a coin, man. Reggie White, LT. I'll take the one you don't want. Hey, MG2. Okay, get this. MG2. If you don't want LT, I'll take Reggie. And if you want Reggie, I'll take LT. Are we good? All right. Let's move on to these deals. By the way, Jason Cole, our NFL insider, Yahoo Sports, Pro Football Hall of Famer, will get his thoughts on Howie Roseman. Wants to talk about Howie and these contracts and this Visa card that he's using to buy all these players. Okay? All right. Here's some projected deals. Do you guys want to move up or down in the draft? Or do you want to stand pat? What do you want to do? Up, down, or stand pat? Crowley goes up. You want to move up. Trade for proven player, please. Xander doesn't want to give that guy draft picks. You really don't need anything on offense except maybe a slot receiver. Maybe another running back in the latter round. Not in the high round. Maybe a backup. Maybe another tight end. But you really don't need anything on offense. Maybe some depth. Okay? CJ goes on with Xander. So you're talking like something like Surtain. Trade for Patrick Surtain. Okay, I get that. Keep 22. We can't afford to lose any picks. Says Philly 4x4. Verse isn't an OLB. Okay. Underdog. I just like to say sports talk with cursing is so much better. Hey, Underdog, I wish that they could get this, Underdog. I wish that they could do this during the NFL game. Can you imagine like a host or an analyst like Troy Aikman going, that's complete bullshit. That's a bullshit call by that ref. I want that to go on. You know that Thursday Amazon? You get like Marshawn Lynch in there. Hey, Underdog, can you see Marshawn Lynch? Man, that guy is a worm. You know that guy's soft as a chick. Look at him in there. Let's get that guy's ass out of there. That dude's terrible. Hey, F that. You know, he's dropping F-bombs. Hey, kiss my ass on that call, ref. I'd love to see a game like that. I'd love to see hey, MG2. Can you imagine? You got Tony Romo going, fuck that. Dude, I'd love to see that. It'd be the highest rated broadcast if you had the analysts. Hey, can you imagine John Madden? Boom, kiss my ass. I mean, oh man, that'd be hilarious. Anyone? Oh my God, right? Dude, that should have. Joshua Gosills, if you did that, I'd pay for that. Please stop. Get this here. Here's Troy. Please stop the trade for Surtain. Howie doesn't pay defense top dollar. Sustain. Quite frankly, Troy is completely wrong here. They called in November along with San Francisco about the potential of trading for Surtain, and he paid both corners north of $15 million at one time. Both corners, the highest money that you're spending on defense right now is at your cornerback positions. I mean, they spent money at those two corners, north of $12 million for both guys. Okay? So when you say they don't pay, they did. They did pay. Hey, 11, can you imagine that? Holy cow. Look at Sirianni on the sidelines acting like an asshat. Sit down, guy. Can you imagine doing that in a broadcast? Oh, my God, the NFL would go nuts. They would never let that go on. See, McAfee, he's on ESPN. He wants to do it. He told me that. But he's at war with them right now. So he's got to kind of like be careful there. He is. Pat McAfee, even though they got rid of Norby Williamson, Norby Williamson and I hated one another. He goes, we could never have someone like you at ESPN. I go, why? Because of that lack thereof integrity? Oh, I see. Oh, okay. You get Caitlyn Jenner, the Arthur Ashe Award, when there was a woman with cancer. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. The Arthur Ashe Award. Yeah, okay, ESPN. Bigger edge in a 34. That's correct. First would be great in that 34. Look at this. AJ catches the ball, but it immediately gets effing annihilated by two defenders. Joshua, he's a pretty damn good football player, though, man. Okay? He's a really good player. Okay? Hey, Sills, let's see you put a team together. Okay? Well, first you got to start with getting a quarterback. Oh, yeah. What I would do to your Eagles, I would give Hurts one more year. If he doesn't win it, if he doesn't do or look better than what he did in 22, I'm moving on. I'm firing the head coach. I'm putting someone in there I'm going to try to find a play calling head coach. Vrabel's not the guy because that's not the NFL of today. I try to hire the Houston guy, who's the offensive coordinator down there, or the guy in Detroit as my head coach, play calling. Those would be my two choices for head coach. And on defense, I would do everything I possibly could to try to find somebody in the world of a Jim Schwartz, aggressive, plays a 43. I think he can get away more with 43. I don't think there's enough linebacker talent coming out of the college ranks any longer. You got to get somebody to cover tight ends today in the NFL because of tight end position, albeit not as gifted as wide receiver, but the limited linebackers in the league make it easy for tight ends to become more of a factor in offensive game plans. Purdy injured. Brady signs. Hurts injured. No, thank you. Hey, big homie, I'm here. How you doing, Swaggy? I would try to get the kid from Houston. That would be my first option as head coach. Then at the other side of that, again, like I said, I would try to create more balance. I'd move A.J. Brown or Devontae, get some draft picks and equity, try to find some linebackers. I would have signed Patrick Queen and Xavier McKinney to try to help me out until it got into the draft. And I would hire coaches that were involved in the personnel selecting of what they want with their defense. If you're asking Vic Fangio to put a defensive game plan together, and I'm here to help you here, dickhead. If you're asking Vic Fangio to put a defense together, he should at least have the ability to go shopping for the players he wants. I don't want you to tell me what I'm looking for and then have you go shopping for me and pick me an off-brand. That's what Howie does. Vic told him the type of player he's looking for. So you know what he did? He signed generic brand players. Take a look at it. Devin White is a generic Patrick Queen sign. Xavier McKinney is a generic Gardner Johnson sign. He went to the CVS and instead of getting the name brand things, he went and got discounted items. Those aren't great value. Great value. Get this. So Prince thinks that the Devin White is great value. when he demanded $100 million from the Bucks and the Bucks and pound sand, and you signed him for $3 million. He took a $97 million pay cut or haircut. He wasn't worth it in the end. He was the 5th pick in the draft. You could have signed a guy that the Steelers signed for $18 million. You didn't want to do it. So what did you do? You got the generic brand. You believe in Devin White? Why? He hasn't been a ball player in 5 years. And he got beat out by a UDFA player at the end of the year. He was benched, a healthy scratch, for the Eagle game in the playoffs. He was benched. You signed a guy who was benched. It makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. Now, that's what is called fool for discount products. They were about to trade him until Queen got there. They were not going to ever pay. So Devin believes that Howie was going to pay a linebacker 3 years, $18 million a year. You don't really believe that, dude. There's not a chance in hell he was doing that. Roquan was why Queen showed up. Well, I would put this out there to that ridiculous comment. I think Mike Tomlin knows defense. I don't think Mike Tomlin is going to recommend Patrick Queen if he doesn't think he could be a centerpiece on his defense. I was around him in Tampa. Mike Tomlin is an astute defensive coach and understands talent. Mike Tomlin's a heck of a defensive coach, and I do not believe that. Actually, we'll see who's affected more this coming season, not having the guy next to him. Roquan wasn't great in Chicago. He was very good. He was great in Baltimore last year because Queen was on his flank. Okay? Okay? Queen did become better once Roquan got there. Okay? Roquan got better too. Okay? Here. Let me take a time out because I want to get to these moves, but I got Jason Cole coming up soon. So let's do this. By the way, he's really impressed with what Howie has done. He's been exceptionally impressed. So let's do this. Let's take a time out here. Hit the like button. We come back. We'll talk a little bit more about movement. This thing with RG3 and the best roster. I'll throw you out 5 of the best rosters, I think, in the NFL, okay? We'll do that next. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz and Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. We appreciate it. We're going to get Jason Cole on here in a couple minutes here. Looking forward to talking with him. I want to get his take once again when it comes to Howie Roseman and these deals that they're putting together here. And I'll say it one more time to you guys. There's no question that I believe Howie is the best contract, and cap management and Roseman and Associates are fabulous at that part of the business. Roseman and Associates are awesome. Best bookkeepers going. Know exactly what they're doing. The templates of some of these deals are off the charts. Wouldn't be surprised. I got a bunch of deals here. And I talked with a couple general managers over the last couple days on possibilities of there could be a lot of movement in this draft because of the offensive line. But the offensive line is making it very difficult for a lot of teams to maneuver because there's a lot of good football players at that position, and there's a lot of depth at the wideout spot. And what's making this draft difficult is evaluating the quarterbacks. Not so much the top 2 guys in Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. It's the other guys, the Michael Penixes, the J.J. McCarthy's, the Drake Mays. Those dudes. Are they first round worthy? See, I don't believe they are. Jay goes best organization hands down. Absolutely not. One Super Bowl to show for it? That's not a testament for being the best. Sorry, dude. That's not a testament. You're 1-3 in Super Bowls under this ownership. Okay? 1-3. But we've won a lot of playoff games, okay? We're one of the best teams, if not the best team, and you are, since 2000 in the NFC East. Great. Oh, that's good. Congratulations for doing your job. Congratulations. Seals, if you play with Jerome in Philly, if you got a contract extension? Yeah, because I'd want Jerome to make more money than me, and I'd want to make more money than him. Yeah. Why? Just because you think Jerome was my close friend, I don't want to make more money than him, or he wants to make more money than me? This is a profession, guy. It's like any job. Get this. Think about what Ty just said. If somebody offered Ty a job, make it double the money, he wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it. If I was doing the same job he was doing, and my boss came to me and gave me a raise, and didn't give the guy next to me the raise, and he's the better player and the better worker and the better productive guy, you bet that guy's going to complain. And what you're going to do is the next guy that's coming in is going to benefit from what you two are doing. That's how the NFL Players Association works. You look out for each other. When guys are taking pay cuts is when it hurts. It hurts the league when you do that, or it hurts the players. It's nothing to do with a friendship. See, when I look at my Twitter page, how funny it is. It's got nothing to do with a friendship or relationship with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. That's irrelevant. This is about pay. This is about working. This is about being in a work environment. This is about a job industry. This is about, again, like you go to work every day and like anyone else, it's just like any other profession. If you do the same job as someone else and someone makes as much money as you for doing less work, are you not going to be pissed? Okay, get this. Wait a minute. Are you not going to be pissed if you're doing the same job and doing the less work and you're getting all the majority of the work, you're producing twice as much money or twice as much yards as the other guy, and he's getting paid the same as you? What's that got to do with my friendship with you? That has nothing to do with anything about friends. You go on my Twitter page, you make it seem like I'm saying, well, those two guys are going to fight. Those two guys won't even talk about money together. They'll just talk about trying to win games. That's called being a professional. Those two guys have a good enough relationship. I would even make this comment to you. Probably Devontae even said, hey, dude, if I got $25 million, you should get $30 million. Would that shock you? That wouldn't shock me. Okay? That wouldn't shock me. It's totally a business. You signed a contract, go ahead and play games. Howie will ship you out. Twiz. Well, there'll be about 90 teams or 90% of the teams in the league that would want to trade for A.J. Brown. If you put A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith on the open market, let's do this. If you put A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith on the open market, who do you think teams would call for? A.J. or Devontae? This will be interesting. Who would you call for? Who would you want to trade for of the two? Who would you want to trade for? No, you don't get both, jackass. It's a question. If both guys are on the market, who would you trade for? AJ or Devontae? Who would you trade for? I don't think it is a tough one. Okay? AJ with now Devontae future organization. Devontae Smith is nowhere near DK Metcalf and AJ Brown in talent. Nowhere near him. He's a possession receiver. He's not a dominant receiver like Debo and AJ and DK and Devontae Adams. He's nowhere in that room. He's not those guys. He's in the CeeDee Lamb room. He's in the Jamar Chase room. Those guys are great players too. But he's not in that physical. He's not a physical ball player. Those other guys are physical ball players. Okay? Smitty, because he allows me to spread the ball around. Truth to that too. AJ's a top 5 at his position. So I'm assuming LJ would trade for AJ Brown over Devontae. Well, you're answering the question that I've posed to you. Wouldn't you be, I wouldn't say pissed. Wouldn't you question the Eagles and have your agent say, well, I mean, I know there's a couple years remaining on my contract here. And I'd like to know, since you set the market, there's a player on our team right now that's not doing anywhere near the production that we're doing, and you're paying the same. Now, again, I get the contract. You're not paying that money for 3 years. So A.J. Brown and his representatives are probably having that explained to them that, this thing is, there's escalators in this. And as he gets older, he's going to be. And if you're an older player, you've got to understand that too. Your salaries are coming down. Like, look at DeAndre Hopkins or look at Odell Beckham. Those guys aren't $25 million wide receivers anymore because of their age and because of their health. And all that plays into it. Now, remember what we just talked about. This got nothing to do with friendships here. This got absolutely nothing to do with, that's just trying to start drama. What drama? A guy wanting more money because he's being more productive? That's not drama, dude. That's reality. There's no drama to that. There's zero drama. He's not going to ask this offseason. It's the next offseason problem. I think what they'll do is they'll start setting the landscape up then for contract talks, either midseason or at the end of it. I think they'll start those talks. He gets out of the gate again, and he's one of the top 5 receivers in the league. And Devontae Smith gets out to his traditional slow starts again. You're going to hear the agent and the player going, well, I think we should start these contract talks, extension talks, or restructuring talks. If I was A.J. Brown, you know what I would do? I would say this. Okay, you want to pay me $25 million? This is what we'll do. I'll lower my base salary. You give me more of a bag of money up front, especially if I get out of the gate and the Eagles are 4-1. And he's like in the top 3 and leading the league. I would have no problem not giving him more money, but I would have no problem giving him more upfront money and lowering the cap to what LJ always says, what makes it harder for him to move. It would make him easier to move if they ever did want to move off him, and it would stress the cap less if he was open to that. Players want the money in the pocket. You know why? That's a for sure thing. Now, look, all the things I'm talking about here, are you under the impression they're not having these conversations privately with the player and the agent now? Setting up what Xander says, a potential to talk down the line? You want to get your money as quick as possible. You think, Xander just said, that's an off season. I'm not waiting that long if I'm a 27, 26-year-old player. I want this stuff addressed. I want you to know where I'm standing on April 16th. So when we get into November, you know exactly where we stand, and you know exactly what we want. You don't start $25 million a year conversations 2 weeks out. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Okay, Jason's just a little bit behind. He loves what's going on here with what the Eagles are doing. Kind of looks like what the Rams did a couple of years ago when they pushed all their chips in. Really good stuff. By the way, we got a bunch of trade scenarios. When we're done with Jason Cole, we'll talk it over here in a second. And to me, it's either moving up, down, staying pat, or like Xander said, making a trade for a proven commodity. Trade the diva. Paul Mancini, A.J. Brown wants to become an LB and play next to Parsons. Yeah, hey, he's big enough. Okay, get this. Ty said this. Sileo complaining and not AJ. Really, that player doesn't complain. That player doesn't, get this. Here's how an off-charts tie is. That guy was complaining about throws to him. You don't think he's going to complain about outproducing someone making as much money as him? He complained about everything. He was on a shrink's couch, Joe Fritz from IP in the afternoon, about a month ago, telling everybody how all his problems are. Everybody sucks. I mean, this is normal, folks. This will be an off-season. No. Get this. How many people believe that the Eagles had to tread lightly on the extension for Devontae because they were nervous about how A.J. Brown would react? Our very own John McMullen said that. Did he not, Xander? The Eagles, you think they were treading lightly on how they handled this? And you see, the big caveat here is that he's not paid for 3 years. So he's really not paid as much as him. The overall contract will come out to that. Just you because you like drama. No. Your wide receiver likes drama. He's the one screaming at your quarterback on the sidelines. Your coach is the one screaming on the sidelines at fans. Not me. Not me. I'm gonna make a comment here before I bring Jason Cole on, our NFL insider. I wonder if he agrees with this. With all this money and all these templates on how these things are done, I say that Howie Roseman, who I don't believe is a good drafter on defense, and I've said that and will remain to say that, but when it comes to contracts and cap management, I don't think there's a better organization in pro football than what the Philadelphia Eagles do. I mean, how they put their deals together is quite remarkable. And again, what I really like about this is the fact that they somehow manipulated the 5th-year option, and then they added the extension on the flip side of that, which is incredible. We'll get Jason up here in a second when we can connect with him here. I think it's interesting. Let's bring our friend Jason Cole in now. Am I right when I say that about Howie in the front office, that they're the best contract negotiators and they're also the best cap management team in the league?
Well, yeah, I would agree with that generally. I mean, I haven't studied this in a while, but Howie is an acolyte of Joe Banner, and Joe was one of the first to say, buy guys out after their 2nd year or their 3rd year, get them done early. And you have to have a belief in the player, right? Like you have to like the player, believe the player is good, all those kinds of things, but pay them early because it's, 50 or 60 cents on the dollar if they become what you think they're going to become. So you're always dealing with, cap excess, and you have room to do the things you want. I think the problem where the Eagles sort of got astray is that they use that money to buy outsiders a lot of the time under Joe. If you remember, what was the super team with Vince Young and all those guys?
Dream team.
And then when you start to pay outsiders, it becomes problematic. Okay, because then guys within your own locker room get jealous that the guys who were from the outside and didn't pay their dues to get paid are all of a sudden making money. And you have to be careful with this. It's not just buy guys out early, but it's watch how you spend all of your money, and are you taking care of your own first?
How about this too, Jason? The really great teams don't make a lot of moves. Are we looking at this? And this goes to your reference of Dream Team, because it's got a feeling of that. Again, you got new coordinators. You've got a brand new scheme schematically going from a 43-34 with Vic Fangio. You really don't have the personnel on that side. RG3 is calling it the best roster. And when you look at the defense, they really haven't upgraded the defense. Devin White was a bust. In Tampa, they let him walk. Gardner Johnson's brought back. Huff was a non-starter, even with the Jets. And he's been a project. He's not a three-down guy. And you lose Reddick. Is it possible you're making too many moves?
Lost Cox, too, already.
Plus, you lose Fletcher Cox, who was arguably their most complete interior defensive tackle.
Right. And you're depending on the young guys to be more mature, and that ain't exactly their – the strength of those young guys is not maturity. It's pure talent, not maturity. Look, I still love that roster, so I'm not going to disagree wholly from what RG3 is talking about. But there are critical holes. And the one thing that you wonder about, particularly on defense, now with Cox gone and with Kelsey gone too, is who are the guys who are going to stand up and say, you know, y'all need to shut up. We got to play. Right? Because you know Kelsey would do that. You know that Cox would do that. You know, way back when they won their title under Jason Peters, not under Jason Peters, but with Nick Foles. And
Doug Peterson.
But Jason Peters, the left tackle, was a guy who was really great at managing the locker room. Like, this is an understated thing that players talk about, is Jason Peters handled the music in the locker room. And he played like all different types of music, whether it was country or rap or rock. He was all over the place. Because, you know, one of the biggest things that's territorial in a locker room is the music that gets played. Right? Because some guys get tired of rap, some guys get tired of country, some guys get tired of rock, and everybody wants to have their stuff played. Well, Jason Peters was really good about making sure everybody got a little bit of something played in the locker room that kept guys happy, right?
Yeah.
And that it seems like a small thing. It's really actually a big thing, right? And so who are the older guys who get it? Because that's not really Jalen Hurts. And I know people complain about Jalen, but Jalen's not this over-the-top talkative guy. I mean, he's a lead-by-example kind of guy. He's a work ethic guy. And you shouldn't have any complaints about him, but he's not going to be the guy who walks in the locker room and looks at guys and goes, shut the hell up and play. Dan Marino does that kind of stuff. I don't know if Jalen Hurts can do that kind of stuff. And there's a big difference there.
Help me out. Maybe I'm too old for this. And help me out here, Jace, because you evolve with the game. You know, you cover the game. You're around these coaches and players. Do you really need a top 10 defense any longer to win a Super Bowl? Or do you just have to be decent? Because look at how the Eagles are built. All their money, all their extensions. They got $98 million tied up in 2 wide receivers and a quarterback alone. I mean, and there's no money really on the other side of the team. But you look around the league and you go, you know what's funny? There's not a lot of teams outside of San Francisco. And the only reason they're getting away with it because Purdy's salary. Do you need a top 10 defense any longer to win a Super Bowl?
You don't need one. I mean, it helps to have one. But I think that most defensive coordinators in this league have gotten to the point where they say, and Belichick was a king of this, and other guys have become derivative of this. I don't really care if I give up rushing yards as long as I'm not getting gashed in the running game, right? Like if you want to get 4 or 5 on me, maybe 6, you get an 8 here or there, but I want to get you into third down. And I want to force you into some kind of mistake. Right? And if you do one play wrong in your sequence offensively, I'm going to get to you, right? That's the kind of defense you're playing. It's not we're going to stone those guys at the line of scrimmage and control them and dominate them. I think there's still room for that in the NFL if you have that much talent. But I don't think that it's necessary What's necessary is to have a great offense that leads you during the regular season, because the regular season is dominated by offense. It always will be. Okay. And this is sort of the flaw of the Ravens. As much as I like Lamar Jackson, as much as I like the Ravens, what they do during the regular season does not necessarily translate into the playoffs. Now, I think they should continue doing what they do, and they shouldn't. I'm not saying that they should deviate from it, but what I'm saying is that their opportunity to win a Super Bowl is smaller than, say, a team like Kansas City or a team like Philadelphia. That's like, okay, we'll occasionally give up some runs. We'll give up some rushing yards here and there. But what we're really going to be good at is third down defense and red zone defense. That's where we're going to be killer, because we're going to hold people to field goals if they're in field goal range, because they're always going to be in field goal range because of how good kickers are. But we're going to keep touchdowns down, and we're going to get them off the field as much as we can on third down.
You know what? It kind of reminds me of the walk of shame in baseball now. If you went 0 for 4 back in the day, it was a walk of shame back to the dugout. Now you strike out 3 times and you hit a bomb, you're Mike Trout. And that's kind of what baseball has evolved into now.
No, Trout's better than that, but I understand what you're saying.
No, but he leads baseball in strikeouts every year. That was something back in the day. But here, watch this. Trout hits 300, 40 home runs, 125 RBIs, but he leads baseball in strikeouts. Nobody cares about that. So I'm wondering, in defense, does anybody really care about being a top 10 unit like that?
I don't think teams are hell-bent on it as much.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think San Francisco is a rarity, but even San Francisco will give up rushing yards. They will trade rushing yards on you to get into situations.
It's scoring defense, isn't it, that teams today in the NFL don't want to do? And that's why you're seeing that Fangio, hey, control and contain, don't give up the plus 25 play. If I give up 135 yards rushing, all right, as long as I'm not giving up big points.
Well, as long as I can't give up 150, 160, 180. I can't have them dictate the whole game with the rushing game. But yeah, I can give up 110, 120, maybe 130 some days, depending on how my offense is playing. I think the other way that a lot of teams play is sort of a dummied down version of Greg Williams, which was, we're going to play for turnovers. We're going to play fast. We're going to play up tempo. We're going to try and get the ball back as fast as we can. And that's a slight difference from what you're talking about. We're going to pass rush really heavy. We're going to blitz a lot. We're going to try and force a couple of extra possessions for our high-powered offense, and we'll do that. I do think it's more and more about how do you mix and match what you're doing between offense and defense, and don't be as worried about, okay, I'm averaging giving up 4.5 yards carry, whereas in your day it was like, oh, we can only give up 3.8. Right. Yeah, we got to keep them under 100 yards. We got to hold them to as few yards as we possibly can, because we're going to try and make them one-dimensional. You make them one-dimensional with scoring. You try and jump on top of teams and get up by 2 scores, and that's how you make the other team one-dimensional.
If the market is set right now at $25 million for a player like Devontae, who I think is a really good ball player, but at the end of the day, he's not Justin Jefferson, he's not DK Metcalf, he's not Deebo Samuel.
Right.
Are we looking at Jefferson, $30 million? I mean, when that deal finally comes to a head, that he's a $30 million guy. And Jason, add a little caveat to it. If you're Justin Jefferson, why would I play in Minnesota when you don't even know who your quarterback is?
Yeah, there's some of that. What's the highest contract now for a wide receiver? Is it
$30 million, Tyreek Hill, and 28 for Devontae Adams. 26.7 is third for Cooper Kupp. Then you're down at the 25s for A.J. Brown, and now with Devontae.
I would say that with this next contract, Justin Jefferson can say, I am appreciably better than all those guys. He can make the argument, and the cap has risen. Well, Tyreek Hill is special to me, okay? He's not the same kind of receiver that Justin Jefferson is, with the window being as big as it is. Tyreek Hill's not that guy, but Tyreek Hill with the ball in his hands is a special thing, right? Like, he can turn an 8-yard pass into a 60-yarder in a hurry, right? And he loves to do it. So different kind of player, results are sort of the same. But if I was Justin Jefferson's agent, I'd be asking for 35 a year. Easy.
Wow.
Yeah, I might be asking for 40.
He had 1,100 yards last year, Jason, in 9 games.
I don't care. He's Justin Jefferson.
No, I know he's the best player in the sport at that position.
At that position, I just say, look, I might ask for 40 and say I'm going to get 35, rather than ask for 35 and get 32 or 33.
You think that's real? Hey, you called it on the Cousins one. You think 35? You think 35 is in the room, really?
Yeah, they made him wait.
Oh, so he's going to punish him.
I don't know if he's going to punish him, but he's going to say, I had to endure an extra year and I got hurt. You're putting me at risk.
Huh?
If you're going to put me at risk,
you're right. I'm going to punish you for that.
Well, you have to pay, especially if you're buying out. I've gotten this close to free agency already. Why shouldn't I just play it out at this point? Because I'll get 35 or 40 on the market. I mean, if Justin Jefferson is free a year from now, right?
Every team in the league, he'll have 32 suitors.
Well, you don't need 32, but he'll have 5 or 6 who are very serious. It's going to be like Shohei Ohtani, a football version of Shohei Ohtani. There's going to be so much money out on the table. I'm not talking about contract structure. Don't confuse me on that. I'm just talking about the number of teams that are going to say, we're in serious bidding for this guy. And that's all you need. And bam.
Have you been shocked, Jason, at the escalation? What have you been more shocked with? The quarterback salaries going up or the receiver salaries going up?
I'm not so shocked at either because the cap is so big. I always come back to say this. There is going to be class warfare in the NFL within the players very soon. It's already out of whack.
So you don't think the NFL owners will come in and start capping these salaries and how much you can make?
Oh, no, they're going to.
In hockey.
They're going to use it against the players. Trust me. They're all their way.
So they're playing the players against themselves right now.
Well, what they love, the owners are like, look, we're going to use this against you to say the cap is way too high because you're making too much money. But internally, what they're allowing to have happen is, you know these conversations. You're a first, second, or third year guy, right? You're playing on the rookie salary. Maybe you got a 3-year contract for what, $2.5 or $3 million, whatever it happened to be. And some dude is making $40 million a year, or 20 or 25 million. Am I right? I'm right.
No. I tried explaining this. Couple last questions here for you. Listen, I tried explaining this to people in here and even on my Twitter. Now that Devontae Smith has signed this $25 million deal, A.J. Brown, what you're saying is going to go like this to his agent. Hang on. The last 2 years, I've given them 3,000 yards. This guy is making the same money I'm making. I'm out producing him. It's got nothing to do with me loving the kid. You get paid in this league for numbers and statistics. You don't get paid for titles. Look at the quarterbacks.
Here, I'm saying something a little bit deeper. You're right. You're absolutely
he wants more money than that guy because the Eagles set the market.
But I'm talking about this. The 40 guys on a roster or 30 guys on a roster who are struggling to make $1 million a year. And I'm not dismissing that $1 million a year is a lot of money. But $1 million a year in the NFL right now is chump change.
Completely.
Right. And they're looking at guys like Devontae Smith making $25 million a year. And all of a sudden why is that guy making that kind of money? Why shouldn't we all be making more money? Like, we should be making $4, $5, $6 million each. Like that's the kind of stuff that happens. And you know what that does? It splits the union. It pits players against players within the locker room. And the NFL does a great job of playing that against the players. And
it's my Players Association, and I know exactly what you're talking. That's exactly what's talked about with that union.
Right. Because what I'm shocked by is that the player minimum salaries, and they can BS their way through this all they want about how, oh, we've grown them by this much and we grew them by this much. And your guys are like, no. Your rank and file guys should be walking in the league making $1 million a year, and the average, and they should be making like $1.5 million to $2 million at the bottom end of the roster. You worry about the number of guys making big money. The reason there are so many guys making big money and why it doesn't matter anymore is that 60% or 65% of the league, that means 30 to 35 guys on every single team, are making minimum.
Because they're undrafted free agents.
Or they're drafted.
Or low draft.
Or they're drafted and they're on minimum salaries for first, second, and third year, along with the bonus that they got. But the bonus is usually, $500,000, $1 million. It's not proportional. And that splits the players against each other. And I know fans don't give a damn about this. But
the players
it has an impact on the players.
The players do, Jason. And like I said, I got accused from people going, oh, you're just trying to start some drama between the two. I'm like, are you crazy? Players are always looking at the guy next to him. What are you making? We get a sheet, Jason, of the top 15 or top 20 guys and how much the salaries are and where you are in the league. And you look at the bottom guys and you look at the top guys. Well, I'm better than this guy here. I should be making what that guy makes. And that's to your point. If a guy's down here making the money and he's on a low-level deal, look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's a $50 million a year guy making $900,000. That is one of the most disproportionate contracts of all time.
Right. But now, I mean, this is that's what I'm saying. There's going to be dissension within the ranks of the union because there are so many guys making so much more. Like, look, Aaron Rodgers is worth his weight in gold. Don't get me wrong.
He totally is.
Right. But he's not worth 50 times what some backup guy's worth. Like if there's a guy making $600,000 or $700,000 and Aaron Rodgers is making $55 million, there's a problem there, right? There's a problem between those two guys. They're not playing the same game. They're not doing the same thing because Aaron Rodgers is not worth 40, 50 times what one of his teammates is worth. When you have that situation, you automatically have incredible jealousy within the league.
Final question for you. Are the Cowboys being held back by Dak, Parsons, and Lamb? This is the first time, Jason, I've ever not that the Cowboys are giant free agent players anyway, because if you look, since Jerry's owned the team, it's a couple here or there. Why, in your opinion, do you think they're being so frugal? And that's a nice word for saying cheap.
Well, it's Jerry's way.
Yeah, Jerry's not cheap. He's not cheap.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. He's not. He doesn't make it look like he's cheap. Like he throws around the food and he invites the media up. There's a little Charlie Comiskey to him. Okay, if you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Right? Make sure that the image is one thing, but the reality is another, right? Okay, Jerry's cheap on contracts. Okay, he's not Bengals like. He's not Mike Brown cheap. He'll pay when he has to pay.
Randy Gregory.
They took forever to get the Dez Bryant deal done. And one of my favorite stories is Troy Aikman was talking to somebody in the 49ers organization one time. And I'm going to leave on this because I got to go. But Aikman was talking to somebody in the 49ers organization. And he goes, man, I'm so jealous of you guys. Eddie DeBartolo throws parties for you guys like every 6 months. He brings you stuff. He takes care of you guys. We can't even get a reunion, and we won 3 titles in 4 years. Aikman had said that to a guy from the 49ers.
Used to fly into Hawaii.
Yeah. Eddie knew how to take care of people. Jerry knows how to take care of himself. He's got that big old yacht.
A 90-foot yacht.
90-foot yacht and and kids to spare. Did I say?
Hey, I'll leave you with this. My favorite line is, before I trade Micah Parsons, I'll take a paternity test.
Pretty much.
He said that.
I know.
He goes, I'd take a paternity test before I trade Micah Parsons. And I was like, wow. Okay. I think that's good to leave it on.
Right. Those guys will get paid. Wow. That's all. I got to go.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Our good friend, Jason Cole. I'm going to take a paternity test before I trade old Micah Parsons. Woo! Hey, you know you got a lot of money, man, when you can drop dimes like that. Now, some of you are saying that Jalen Hurts drops dimes. That's dropping a dime on someone. I ain't trading that guy. I'll give a DNA paternity test before I do something like that. Who talks like that except guys with FU money? Right? Hey, I got some deals I want to throw at you guys, trading up or down. We're going to do that next here. Hey, I like throwing that card out like that. You got one? Okay. I got one. Hey, BJ, you got one? Just checking. Hey, BJ's got or LJ, he's got a Sunflower of the Month Club card. Jelly of the Month. That's what he has. He has a Jelly of the Month Club. Hey, senor. You're right. Hey, senor. Still's throwing out dumb trade ideas that won't work or ever happen. Well, shit, man, giving your boy draft picks on defense. Hey, quite frankly, you pray it doesn't happen because the guy stinks when it comes to drafting anybody. Okay? Yeah, how you doing? Where's the chain? Got the chain right here, bro. Right here. Big old chain. Hey, look at the fans. Sending big sills. How you doing? Put that bad puppy on. How you doing, man? That's right. Look at it. Yeah, now we're back in bling. This thing's heavy, too. That thing's heavy. Yeah! There he is, old BJ. Jelly of the Month Club. That's what he has. He goes down to his local, let's see here, Wawa. Hey, what do I get with this card? Do I get some of that shitty pizza? I hear you serve shitty pizza at Wawa. You get the shitty Wawa. All right, man. Come back out of the timeout. Big Sil's got some ideas for you here. I saw that for $35 on Amazon. Hey, Joe, what would you ever know about Amazon and good deals? You seen your economy? Hey, by the way, there's only one place in America that Joe Biden hasn't destroyed. Believe it or not, it's Augusta National. You can still get a sandwich for $2, a Coke for $1, and chips for $1, and not get hijacked when you go to like an event. You go anywhere else, though. Bidenomics, baby. How you doing? Terrible plagiarism. You wrote NFL. What? Hey, bro. It's okay, honey. I know, sweetheart. Don't worry. I know you get a little upset. That, I know. It's okay. I love it. See that there, baby? See that, baby? Look at that thing. Here's, look at it on the back, too. NFL services. Union member. The only union that LJ ever knows is the Philadelphia Union. You see this? Like, oh, by the way, if I ever got hammered and I was with BJ, you know what I would do? See, they send a cab for me so I don't get DUI and it's free from the union. I'd have to kick his ass out of the car, let him stumble home on Broad Street. How you doing? All right. Hit the like button. We'll come back. We'll talk about the NFL draft with the Eagles and some of your favorite teams. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything. Everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz and Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big sales! So CeeDee Lamb is now sitting out all season workouts. Ooh, wait a minute. He wants a new contract. Man. But not AJ, because he's a stand-up guy. I got people all over my Twitter giving me a wrath of shit for bringing up what everyone knows in the league, that AJ Brown is going to be a handful. He gets out and he leads the National Football League in catches and yards, and your boy next to him is making less and he's got a half the totals. He's going to want more money. Anybody on the planet knows that. How you doing? Don't stop doing that. You're creating I'm not creating nothing. I'm pointing it out. You just say, I'm not hating. It's called reality. Lamb, $17 million. He'll get more. Wait a minute. He's on the Dallas Cowboys. Your guy's on the Eagles. Get over yourselves. He's going to make $25 to $28 million. CeeDee Lamb. Oh, no, I'll take that back. He's making more than AJ. He's a Dallas Cowboy. Dallas Cowboys make more than you. They make more than you. They make more than you. They're bigger TV stars than you. Nobody even knows who your quarterback is. Jalen Hurts. I thought there was a guy that played for the Phillies named Hurts. Wasn't there? Wasn't there a guy that played for the Phillies named Wirtz? Right? Yeah, but wait, Devontae's better. AJ's better than Lamb. That has nothing to do with it. He's a Dallas Cowboy. He's a Dallas Cowboy. He's on a more visible team. When you're a Laker or Celtic, you think you have the same visibility that Embiid has in Philly or Chicago? No. There's called big brands, little brands. The Packers are a big brand. I'm not saying that the Eagles don't have a great brand. They do. They do. Yeah. Worth. Oh, sorry. Worth. Jalen Worth. Yeah, he has a World Series ring now. Great. Something Jalen doesn't have. A championship ring. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, J215. Hood. Yeah. So Worth has something Hurts will never get. A championship ring. Congratulations to you, kid. Thanks very much for pointing that out to me. Yeah. Oh, I will say this, though, about the Sixers. Before we move on, one thing I will say. I did think that was pretty cool that the 76ers. How many rings you got, Sills? I got 3. I have 3 championship rings. 3. Dan Sileo's joking, people. He knows we're extremely popular. No, you're not. Compared to the Cowboys? No, you're not. Okay? No, you're not. Sills doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. Neither does Hurts. Jalen has no championship rings. He's never won a national title. That's not true. SEC. Jalen actually has never won a championship in his life outside the Southeastern Conference, which is a big deal. Won't say that. It's not true. Yeah! Oh, how you doing, Flexin? Oh, he's got an NFC championship silver medal ring. He could put that in his nose. Look, I got an NFC title ring. With Alabama? No, he didn't win a national title. He was on the bench for that. When Tua Tagovailoa, when he won it, Jalen was holding the cup of ice when Tua won that title. Hey, you need any water? You need any water? Sileo hot dog eating contest winner 3 times. I don't really like hot dogs. They give me agita. And for white dudes like LJ, that's heartburn. Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah, he won that national title. Oh, wait. Jalen Hurts was Carson Wentz on that ride. Wasn't he Xander? Xander was around for that thing. He was like he was like in the bus. He was like in the bus. Yeah. Hey, one thing I got to say about the Sixers, dude. I did like the statue. I did. And I said this to somebody the other day. Someone goes, Sills, what'd you make of the Allen Iverson statue that the Sixers unveiled this past weekend? And I said this. I go, I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to be any and show any disrespect to Kobe. Upper Marion, if I had a ticket to go see Allen Iverson or Kobe Bryant play 48 minutes of basketball in the NBA, I'm taking Iverson all night long. I'd pay to go see Iverson over Kobe all night long. Okay? Hey, senor, am I wrong? Would you pay to go see Iverson over Kobe? Lower Mary. Thank you. Hey, would you not? Iverson just was electric. I would say if you had to put in order your top 3 players in, I don't think Chet Walker's in the top 5. Wilt's probably 1. Malone 2. Dr. J 3. Barkley 4. Embiid 5. Something like that. Kobe all day? Nah, I'll take Iverson. You can Kobe, all good. I would buy a ticket to see Allen Iverson over Kobe Bryant any day, any night. I remember when Iverson dropped 49 on Kobe. You put 49 on him. You must have forgot that. When he dropped 40 on him, 49 on him. Sills East Coast bias. Maybe. Maybe a little bit. Mamba isn't better than AI. Probably better, but I'm talking about electric and showman, and Allen Iverson to me is entertaining too. I saw a guy on a Sixer team, I think it was game 2 against the Lakers and that Kobe Shaq team. I think it was game 2 at the Great Western Forum, and Iverson won a game by himself against that Phil Jackson Los Angeles Laker team. And there was nobody on that team but him. And he carried that thing. It was incredible. I was out in LA at the time. My kid was just born. And we watched that game. We were like, Iverson won that game by himself. He just won that game by himself. Don't forget, Kobe was from Philly. Both Kobe and Iverson, 2 legends. Hey, man, by the way, I think that Kobe Bryant's spectacular too. Okay? He is. He's spectacular, but there's something about Allen Iverson, man, that I enjoyed so much. AI played a game differently than Kobe. He was a stand-up player who was also good at the game. Kobe was a dick to all of his teammates and was a ball hog in his middle years. Yeah. A little bit like Jordan. Jordan early years too. I remember the gentleman's sweep in 01, 4-1. How you doing? Flexing. He won that game by himself. He did, man. How about this? Let me ask you guys this. If Shaquille O'Neal was playing with Allen Iverson, you think he'd have 4 championships? You think he'd have 4 championships? MG, if AI had Shaq, you don't think Allen Iverson would have won the championship with O'Neal? Okay? I don't know, man. You put Shaq with Allen Iverson? I'm with Jalen, man. I think you go 5+ and threaten Jordan. Kobe played defense. Dude, nobody could stop the crossover. Not even Jordan. Hey, Sills, why do you wait until after your deal to show your real hate for the Eagles? When you first started, you were singing their praises. Because when you start unraveling how they do business, I understand why you're 1-3 in Super Bowls now. Frustrating organization to root for. No wonder you guys during that Andy Reid era were doing this, pulling your hair out with so many lost opportunities. I don't care what any of you say. You look at the Andy Reid era, this is what most of you should be feeling. And I'll tell you one thing that I love about Xander. Xander's not a guy with a lot of words. You know what he says about that? Hey, lost opportunity. It's not dissecting it. Well, we went to all those conference title games, 5 in a row. That's cutting things up to make it sound better so that you don't have a hurt feeling or something. Instead of reality of going, missed opportunity. Andy Reid in Philly was a lost opportunity. But Sills, we were hanging around the rim. Lost opportunity. It's like my grandfather raised me. Black and white, no gray area. You can't have it in the middle in pro sports. You're not graded on a bell curve. People in today's society want to be graded on a bell curve. In sports, it's called scoreboard. Scoreboard. Win, lose. No gray area. There's no middle column in the scoreboard. That's what the politicians and everyone hates about professional sports. You know what? That's actually why we hold them up to a higher standard than our politicians. Hell, you could be a cocktail waitress like AOC and make decisions on our country's future. If you're A-Rod and you happen to take an inhaler or you take some sort of steroid, you're a villain. It's crazy. Our politicians aren't held to a higher standard, but our athletes are. Why? You revere them more because there's no gray area with how you look at a guy. Dude, you don't have to be qualified to be a politician in today's society. Take a look at who runs for president and who's in Washington. I can't believe those people are the most unqualified people. You would never have those people decide anything in your lives. Both sides. No, that's okay. No, thank you. So you blame the owner. It stops with him, doesn't it? Political ethics? Since when? Bonds took the needle, those Sills. That's your guy. Yeah, because I don't care. I'm awake or you goes. Bonds took the needle. But once again, you got a guy now that's going around on the internet and going around on shows and saying that Tiger Woods took steroids during his heyday when he was on the PGA Tour with no facts. Just conjecture. And he's going around telling people that Tiger took steroids. And I'd be like this, can you prove it? You couldn't prove it with Bonds either. Bonds was never convicted of anything except one thing, house arrest in his billion-dollar mansion for obstruction. Not anything to do with anabolic steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. But yet you have all of these sports writers pretending that they know when, quite frankly, they couldn't pass a honors test themselves. Who are they? They're not pharmacists or doctors. I mean, you couldn't prove any of it, actually. Buds took juice. That's a theory. That's a theory. Stop the madness? Show me some proof. You're convicting Bonds in the court of public opinion, which today is more important than the courtroom. Guilty in the court of public opinion. Correct, Chuck. It's called the stupid-ass cancel culture, people. That's more powerful, believe it or not, especially in my weak-ass business. My broadcasting business, the radio business, is the weakest organizations I've ever seen. with being just absolutely getting their ass kicked and being told what to do by Billy Bob Smith from Upper Marlboro, sending an innocuous email about hating something someone said on the radio. And an advertiser will go, oh, God, instead of going, who cares? Crazy. All right. Let's get into the business of what to do at 22 here. House arrest, well spent, nothing proven. Job well done, right? He swam in his mansion's pool for 30 days and didn't leave his house for obstruction. Yeah. $72 million of the American taxpayer money was spent trying to convict Bonds, and they couldn't. United States taxpayer money, $72 million for house arrest in a mansion. Well done. Right? Bonds was lethal. Bonds is the greatest left-handed hitter I've ever seen in my lifetime. Probably the second best to Williams. Ruth probably the ultimate best. But Ruth can't be counted because he played against white guys and only white guys. Same with Williams. So Bonds is the greatest left-hand hitter ever. Got to have diversity in your sport to be considered the greatest. All them dudes prior to 1950 or maybe even 1960, I don't look back at those guys and go, they're the greatest players in the history of baseball. Ruth, Gehrig, all them guys were playing against beer-drinking white guys. When you had diversity in the sport and you started seeing diversity in baseball, that's when baseball became a sport. Okay? Flexen says Bonds will never get into the Hall of Fame. Well, let me ask you this, Flexen, since you're court of public opinion, does Bonds need the Hall of Fame to be considered the greatest player in one of the greatest players in the history of the sport? I don't think he does. So your Hall of Fame is incomplete. You can't tell the story of baseball without bringing Bonds' name up, along with Rose, Clemens, Curt Schilling. Couldn't. Can't bring the sport up. All right. Let's get back to the business of football here. What do you want to do at 22? Up, down. Xander said last hour, let's move the pick and get a bona fide player. And we all circled the kid in Denver. What do you want to do here? Big Seals, you want to see the Bills, Eagles in the Super Bowl? Do I think Bills, Eagles in the Super Bowl this year? No. I think the Bills and the Eagles will get bounced early if they did make it. I don't think the Eagles make it, and I think the Bills are going to have to show us they can win with lesser talent on offense. Okay? And I don't think the Eagles are making it either because of their shitty defense. Trade back and take OT and take Edgerrin Cooper with that first pick. Sills, when society tears down statues from the past, Hall of Famers mean nothing. Correct. Absolutely. You're trying to change history or a narrative in history. Can't change it. Nor should you want to, because it tells you about your journey that this country's been on and your particular sport. Okay. I've got some projected takes on moving. This would be this. Let's start with a move with the Jets. Eagles send the 22nd pick and both 50th and the 53rd pick. For the Jets, 10th pick and 72nd pick. That would move him into the top 10. And they would not have a 2, but they would have a 3, which they don't have. And you can move up at 10, get Verse, Fuaga, or Dunze. Brock Bowers. No? Okay. How about this one? The Eagles would send the 22nd pick and the 50th pick in the second round to the Colts, who are picking at 15. And the Eagles would get the 15th pick and another 4th rounder. You'd have 2 4th rounders. If you move down, you would get the 15th pick and another 4th rounder. To move up, actually. Excuse me, move up. Has Brandon Ayuk been traded? And is it the Steelers? Our 50th pick is very important. I happen to agree with that. I'm awake, or you. Okay? By the way, what I'm doing here is doing what the Eagles are doing right now, looking at trading up or down. Okay? I'm looking at where they are. Where they are. What would you do? To move to 15, move up? You could land on Jared Verse there. Another scenario. It's moving up. Eagles move to 19. Latu's there. Brian Thomas is there. Fantanu's there. Washington OT. Cooper DeJean's there. The Eagles would go 19 with the Rams. And the Rams would get the 22nd pick and the 3rd rounder in 2026 to move up to 19. So you just moving just a couple spots here to get up and get that Latu kid. All right, Dick Train says Bus is GM. I'm giving you 4 or 5 different scenarios, jackass. What would you do at 22? Who are you taking? With your brilliant drafting, horrible evaluating, Roseman and Associates at 22. Tell me what you're doing there. And tell me that it won't be a failure like every draft pick that he's had so far in the last 5 years on defense, outside of Jalen Carter, has been horrible. Give me one. Name me one that's your horrible. Hey, your general manager is so bad at picking defensive players, nobody has made an impact in 5 years since he's taken the reins back of being a defense or being a general manager. In 5 years, that guy hasn't done dick with one player on the draft board. Not one. What are you talking about? So if I'm a bust as GM, what's your boy? Oh, and he got a receiver right. After all these years, you drafted two wide receivers in the last 25 years that were worth a shit. Deshaun Jackson and Devontae. Quite a record. Howie Roseman's a genius. He won't answer the question. Name me one guy that they've drafted on defense in the last 5 years that has impacted your roster. 5 years since he's taken back over the reins as GM. Name me one guy in 5 years. One guy. Carter. Okay. I like him. Fell apart a little bit at the end, but I'm not going to diss the kid. Jordan Davis. No, thank you. Nolan Smith. No, thank you. Jacoby Dean. No, thank you. Hey, that's actually pretty funny to look at. That's actually pretty funny to look at here. Let's do that. Let's. And I don't even know here. Hey, Xander, watch this. I really don't. I got one more here. Philadelphia Eagles draft history. And I got one more here at the bottom here. 1, 2. Well, here, let's do this. Let's go, and you're right. Let's not do the 23 season because we really don't know yet. Let's go 22, 21. Let's see. 22, 21, 20, 19, and 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So we'll go back to 18. Okay. Are any of these guys still on the team? Here we go, 18. Here's your defensive players in 18 that you drafted. Avonte Maddox. He's just been cut and brought back. He doesn't really start. So I don't know what he is. Josh Sweat. 4th round, Josh Sweat. I'm going to write these names down. In the last 5 years, Josh Sweat. I like Josh, man. Told you I do. All right. 2019. Sharif Miller. 4th round. Who's that? Who's Sharif Miller? Is he still on the team? Who's Sharif Miller? Who's Sharif Miller? Sills wouldn't pass the interview? Well, I did. Who's Sharif Miller? Oh, bust? Oh, okay. Let's go 2020. Devon Taylor. Is he now, wait a minute. 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, 21, 22, 23. So, okay. Who's Davon Taylor? Who's Davon Taylor? Who's Davon Taylor? Holy shit, he's a third rounder. Oh, wow. Davon Taylor. He's out of the NFL? What a shocker. Was drafted for his speed, but he can't get on the field. Huh. Sounds like someone else I know on the roster who's penciled in as an inside linebacker. Okay. Who's Kayvon Wallace? Oh my God almighty. He's a safety. Who's Kayvon Wallace? Who's Kayvon Wallace? Who's Kayvon Wallace? Hey, Woody, he's a fourth rounder too. Kayvon had potential. Oh, there's that word. Hadn't done it. Kayvon Wallace. All right. Let's see if it gets better. Who's Sean Bradley? I thought he played center for the Dallas Mavericks. I thought he was a center for the Mavericks. You know that big white dude? BYU guy, I believe. Didn't he play center for the Mavericks? Sean Bradley. Who is Sean Bradley? Jesus criminy. Don't say a fifth rounder doesn't matter because Seth Joyner was like an eighth rounder. Temple guy, right? I don't know. I never heard of him. No, Dick Train thinks this guy is a guru at picking defensive players. Okay, let's go here. Who's Casey Toohill? This guy's part of the Fakawi tribe. Who the hell is Casey Toohill? What's he related to? Sitting Bull? Casey Toohill, defensive end. Hey, Casey Toohill. Oh, man. These are your defensive players in the last 5 years. (2021). So far, I only got Josh Sweat in the last 5 years. Milton Williams, absolutely. Milton Williams. Who's Zach McPherson? Who's Zach McPherson? No. Zach McPherson's a fourth rounder. He's still here? He's still here. Oh, he's still here. Oh, good. Who's Marlon Tupulatu? Who's that? Marlon Tupulatu. Is he still here too? He's a DT. Is he still here? Hey. Teron Jackson. Is he still here? Who's Patrick Johnson? Oh my God, this is fucking great. Okay, it is 2022. Nakobe Dean, K-Ron Johnson. Those are your, dude. In the last 5 years, out of how many defensive picks? Let me see. 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Out of 17 defensive picks. Hey, I've got to get that $10 one there, Xander. Out of 17 picks, you got 2 guys on your team that are worth the shit, Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. Sills, I really believe 18, 19, and 20 were bad because those players were Doug's picks, because Howie's picks have been better over the last 3 years. Not great, but better. No, they haven't. They've had here defensively, Nolan Smith has had no impact. Sidney Brown has had no impact. Keely Ringo has had no impact. And it's unfair for those guys because they're rookies, so you give them a pass. Jordan Davis has not lived up to the 13th pick. Jacoby Dean has not lived up to the 3rd pick at all. Karan Johnson is a nobody. Devontae Smith, great offense, no doubt. Milton Williams, good pick. I like Milton a lot, actually. Zach McPherson, 0 impact. Marlon Pulatu, no impact. Teron Jackson, no impact. Jacoby Stevens, who's that? No impact. Patrick Johnson, no impact. Devon Taylor, no impact. Kayvon Wallace, no impact. I'm only in 2020 since he got his job title back as GM. I mean, these are his picks. Doug Peterson didn't have say over the personnel. That's why he got fired. Dude, completely out of your tree when you talk like that. So, Dick Train called me a horrible GM. Well, what would you consider Howie at drafting personnel? Xander's right. Why in the world would you make any kind of trade picks to get more draft picks so that guy could F it up? He's not good. His track record speaks to that. You won't say it, though, because you don't want to, because he signed Devontae Smith to a spectacularly graft and template of a great deal. Just because you make great contracts and you're great at cap management doesn't mean you know personnel. He has no history of being good at it. Hey, Zeus, how many general managers in the NFL can you – hey, listen, I'm going to make a point to you on something here about Roseman and most general managers. In Baltimore, they have a capologist guy. In Baltimore, they have a general manager who's solely more responsible for the personnel on the team than Eric DeCosta. Eric DeCosta doesn't cut contracts. He's involved in them because it's the owner's money, but he's not orchestrating deals and putting deals together when it comes to managing the cap or managing new contracts. He's not doing any of that. They have professionals in the building. You think John Lynch is cutting, or John Lynch is some sort of spectacular capologist guy? Absolutely not. Most places have people in the building that have specialty jobs. Howie thinks he can do it all. He can't, and he's proving it. It's why the frustrating thing about your organization. How about this? If you guys had a general manager in the building that allowed someone else to handle your draft, do you think you would have landed on Justin Jefferson? Do you think you would have landed on Hamilton instead of Jordan Davis? do you think he would have landed on other players that you missed on defense? Get this. You guys are, you know why he rewarded Devontae Smith? Because he finally got one right. How he can't draft. Do you think there's a reason that you're good at picking O-linemen? You have the best O-line coach in pro football, which, by the way, was donated by Chip Kelly. Not anybody in your organization hired him. Nobody was the guy who went out and sought after him. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was at Alabama, because I know he was at Miami when they were putting those championship teams together as the O-line coach. I mean, passed on Jefferson, passed on Debo, passed on so many great defensive players. How we can't draft unless people fall to us. Get this, Anthony. Do you really think that Howie Roseman had the third best player in the draft fall to him at 9 last year? And there was a debate if he would take him, because why? The accident that killed someone. I wouldn't have even thought about it. I'd have taken him anyway. That wouldn't have been something that would have stopped me. If Big Dom and the NFL have him on the draft board, it must be cool. You got to worry about character things? Shit, dude. Him in that position is not going to change his character. He's either going to have it or he doesn't. You don't become a better person over something like that. You are who you are. I mean, you think Tiger's a better guy now? No, he's more guarded. He's not a better person now. You are what you are. You're smarter, but you still had those innate capabilities of doing something dumb. Look at Ty. Nolan Smith is better than some think. Well, he better eat a whole bunch of White Castle burgers. He's light in the pants. He's not very aggressive. And if you put a tight end on him, he gets annihilated. He gets annihilated. He's soft. They got 2 defensive football players lined up in their 34 that are soft. And I can't wait to see Bryce Huff, because I thought he was soft in New York. That's why he didn't start. He wasn't a starter in New York. He was a role player. Nolan Smith is a classic case of a college game not translating to the NFL. He needs to add 20 pounds of muscle. He got manhandled last year. Sam, amen. Manhandled. Tight ends were kicking the shit out of him. That's the reason he didn't get on the field. He got the shit kicked out of him. Shit kicked out of him. Got another one here. So let me go back over this. Once again, you know what? You know how stupid most... So people here, how many options do you think the Eagle front office right now is going over with the 22nd pick, the 2 2s, the 4, and the 1, 2, 3, 5s, and 1 6? How many scenarios do you think they're playing out right now? I just have 4. What do you think? 100? Because you get this. Every deal I proposed has been better than anything you've done the last 5 years on defense. You haven't done anything. So how can you say my ideas are bad when you haven't done one thing that's noteworthy on building a defense in the draft? Ty goes, all bad ideas. What's a good idea Howie's done in the last 5 years since he's taken the reins back as GM, Ty? What's he done? Have Jalen Carter fall to him? Okay. In the last almost 20 picks, he's got 2 dudes on the team that are worth the shit, Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. What else has he done for anybody making an impact on your team? No one's made an impact. What has he done that I'm not suggesting? Traded up for Jalen Carter and Smitty. I'm asking you about defense, guy. I'm not talking to you about offense. And by the way, after 18 wide receivers that have been drafted since 2000, he landed on one. Congratulations. You know, a clock is right twice inside of 24 hours. You know what I mean? It's right twice a day. So thank God he landed on something. Once again, defensively, what has he done in the last 5 years to help your defense and have an impact player? You notice? People that are watching, read the comments. They won't admit it. They won't admit it. They can't. They'd be like Howie Roseman is listening, so restructure AJ and hand him a bag of money. Is off his meds today? I hope Howie is. He'll need to be because I think he's been drunk when he drafts. Roseman and Associates don't belong in a draft room. Roseman and Associates don't belong in a draft room. I got one more here. This is trading down. Eagles trade down to 28 with Buffalo. They get the 28th pick and a 2025 28th pick or their first rounder next year's draft. And the Bills get the 22nd pick. So you get a 1 this year at 28, and you get a 1 in next year's draft. Would you do it? Dick Train says we're lying at how he's been drafting well since 2018. He's lying. He's got 2 players on the team that have impact, Milton Williams and Josh Sweat on defense. You talk about a guy who lives a lie? It's Dick Train. There's no lies. I just looked at the draft. I didn't even know who he had drafted. So we looked at it. Go look it up yourself. GOOGLE DICKTRAIN. Hashtag penis. Google it. 2 dudes on a football team since 18 defensively. Rather trade back from the first round and get more second, third. So you trade out, Andrew, you would trade out of the first round trying to pick up 2s and 3s, right? For that 22nd or for the 22nd pick. But you'd want to do it in this draft. Okay. Who's Dick Train? I don't know. Who? You spelled your name wrong. No, to you, it's G-O-D. And don't worry, honey. You can put a picture of me under your pillow tonight. Hey, BJ. It's okay, sweetheart. Howie will waste more picks looking for a talented cornerback than whatever it costs to get the Denver quarterback. That's Xander's take. Xander's take is like, Sills, you sat here all day today talking about how bad this guy sucks at picking defensive players. You want to give him, he's right. And you want to give this guy more opportunities. But you know what you do when you say, and you're proposing deals to move and try to get more picks? Because you got to hopefully land on something. You know what you're doing? Okay, I mean, you're kind of hoping he gets one guy right when he can't get anybody right. I would trade number 22 for Surtain too. What's going to take more than that? I'm telling you, if you want to trade for Patrick Surtain, you're going to have to trade 22 and one of them twos away. It'd be the 22nd pick and maybe the 53rd pick to get him. Because you're not getting that guy for nothing. You got him on a deal right now for the next 2 years. And then you got to look at it this way. You see, Denver already has a first-round pick. They have the 12th pick in this year's draft. So if they acquire the 22nd pick, they can move up to New England's pick if they like one of these quarterbacks, which I can't think you do. If you're Sean Payton and you're looking at any one of these quarterbacks, you see, to me, if I'm Denver, look at San Francisco, what San Francisco can do. San Francisco sitting at the 31st pick. 31 and 12 to move to 3? I don't know if you're New England. I might get more somewhere else. 22 and 12? That might shake New England's tree. So which corner's gone? If you pick up Surtain, or are they included in the trade? I'm not getting rid of him. Remember something. He's still on a rookie contract this year at $6.4 million. Next year, he's bumped to 15.5 because Denver picked the option up. You don't have to pay him for 3 years like Smitty. It's built into the deal. So if you trade for him, you've got the best lockdown corner in the league, not having to pay him for 3 years. It's a no-brainer. Now, will Denver do it? Denver listened. They listened in November. Okay, they listened in November. Trade Hurts in 2025 first rounder. Hey, John, don't worry, that's coming. Trade Hurts? You mean fire Hurts? When this guy doesn't get it done at the end of the year? Oh, man, I can't wait to see this thing play out. There's not a chance in hell this guy turns it around. With all that talent, too. Be fired by – hey, if that guy is not playing better football by midseason, you'll be screaming for his head in Philly. Remember I told you that? Shit, you were screaming at Nick Sirianni's head when he was 2-5. You wait. If that guy's not turned it around and he doesn't look good and he's at the halfway point, that team's 4-4, and he's not playing well, you'll be screaming to fire that guy. And Small Hands Pickett will be in the building, Mr. Binoculars. Kenny Pickett, baby. Pickett season. Kenny Pickett season. Hurts MVP. Yeah, okay. Carson Wentz, too. Carson Wentz has a better shot of winning it. Hey, Xander. Carson Wentz has a better chance of winning a Super Bowl ring this year than Jalen Hurts does. Did you ever think of that? Carson Wentz has a better chance at winning a Super Bowl ring than Jalen Hurts does. Yeah. No, nothing, maybe. Josh Allen will be out of Buffalo. Why would you get rid of a guy when he's your only guy? And you got, get this. Here. I'm going to show Dick Train what a jackwagon he is. Ready? On the show lot in Buffalo, we have, the brilliance in this Ferrari it's called the Josh Allen series. You know the Daytonas back in the day? Those Daytonas were awesome back in the 70s. We now have a new Josh Allen model. Fantastic. Or the Diablos? Oh, just absolutely fantastic Ferraris. The F-140s? Phenomenal. Woo. Enzo and Pininfarina did a great job at the body. Take a look at that. We really don't have another car on the lot. But let's go over to the Jalen Hurts car dealership. Look at this Ferrari. AJ. Man. Pininfarina did a very nice job. Dick Train. Painting this car. Unbelievable. I know you don't know who Pininfarina is because when you're in them station wagons from back in the 80s, Hoss, I get it. Got to look it up. He's a guy who designs cars, does a great job on paint. So Pininfarina, just hooking you up here. Station wagons, with the wood paneling, don't traditionally have it on there. Let's continue here on the Jalen Hurts lot. Look at AJ. Look at Devontae. Oh, there's another great looking. That's more of an Aston Martin. What a beautiful looking ride. Look at this left tackle. Whew, man, a Bugatti. This right here, my friends, they only make 10 of these bad puppies a year. Look at the left guard, Landon. Wow. You're talking about another great looking Aston Martin. Lane Johnson, man, that SUV Rolls Royce, fantastic. Some of you really look at this. This is kind of like got some miles on it a little bit. This is a Bentley Coupe. Also a very good looking car. $97,000 right now. It's got 5,000 miles on it. Fantastic. I know someone asked why we keep the Acura Legend with the rest of these. That's Jalen Hurts. He's the Acura Legend next to these cars. Very durable car. In case all these cars right here don't fit your suit, what you got here is you can always get, the Acura Legend. Jalen Hurts is an Acura Legend. Coupe style, though. Jesus goes, how about your Hummer? Love that thing, man. Big room. Oh, man. It's my favorite car. My favorite car. The only thing I don't like about it is the canary yellow. You could see it from the space shuttle. I just showed my age, but how about the moon? Hurts was almost the MVP of the league. Cut it out. Hey, Jesus. So was Carson Wentz. Cut it out. Cut it out. Josh Allen, nothing without Diggs. Okay. Well, Jalen Hurts will be nothing without A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, your offensive line, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert. If that guy would be nobody without Diggs, your guy would be nobody if they took all those guys off the team. He'd be a nobody. I saw him in the Bucs game. He was a nobody. Nobody. I agree with you, Anthony. I think that Josh Allen's going to have the best year of his career because you know why? He's not going to be pigeonholed into throwing to one dude. Bills Mafia, well, you don't need that guy. He's on his third team in 4 years. Bills Mafia, Stephon Diggs is on his third team in 4 years. If he's so good, why do all these teams move off him? Don't you try to keep great players? He's on his third team. Dick Train thinks that Josh Allen's fraudulent. I think Hurts is even bigger of a fraud. I have no faith that that guy turns his career around. 3 years have been whatever. Like Xander said, CCA or CAC. He's been average. I don't know. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, the last two quarterbacks that you've given big money to have all bombed. And the one quarterback you gave no money to was the one that bailed you out in 17. The guys you thought were the guys turned out not to be. And the guy who just happened to be in the building was the guy. And you made a mistake on that one. Did you not? You should have kept Foles. See, the biggest mistake for the franchise happened in 18. Laurie needed to create a position above GM. Promote Howie to that position. Cap, contracts, and trades. Yeah. Pro trades? Sure. He's fantastic at that. Then promote Joe Douglas to GM of personnel or president of personnel. Yeah. With Howie still answering in there. But yeah, Joe Douglas should. Or Andrew Berry. Think about this, Bob. Joe Douglas, not bad for doing a nice job, especially on the defensive side. I think Robert Saleh has a lot to do with that. But I think Barry is actually, as that contract with Deshaun Watson looks sketchy right now. And boy, I'll tell you, it could be the biggest disaster contract of all time. However, they got to the playoffs with 5 different quarterbacks because of the good coaching of Kevin Stefanski. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they did a nice job there. I think, and look at the job that Barry did. Well, and remember, Barry knew John Dorsey. John brought a lot of that talent in, like Myles Garrett and all them dudes, Hayden and them guys on the defensive side of the football. He did. He brought Chubb in too. I mean, those guys were fantastic. Seals, you think the Eagles defense gets great Hurts, can win a Super Bowl? The Eagle defense will hold Hurts back from getting to the playoffs. This is a Chip Kelly super team. 200 plays, and defense will be gassed by halftime. And Hurts has a second rounder and was never supposed to start. Actually, death row, that's a brutal take. Okay? He wasn't drafted to start in Philly, which is true. But Russell Wilson wasn't drafted in Seattle to be the starting quarterback. Tavares Jackson was supposed to be the starting quarterback in Seattle. Remember that? It was Tavares Jackson's team. He was supposed to be the guy. But Wilson beat him out. Now there was a true competition in Seattle because Carroll went, no, this guy's better. Jalen never had a quarterback competition. It was handed to him. Just like that $250 million deal was handed to him. And I think too soon. He proved nothing. Getting to a Super Bowl, Brock Purdy's gotten to a Super Bowl. I mean, it's on your resume. Absolutely. But that's the only thing he can. And here, you better get to the soup. You better get to the playoffs with the money you're spending. Don't you think? Why aren't you expecting? Hey, you know what's really aggravating here for me? Why aren't you in your expectations at a higher bar than they are? Tom Brady wasn't drafted to start. Look how that turned out. Taylor. And not only was he not drafted to start, They gave Drew Bledsoe the year before $117 million with an $18 million guarantee. The year before Brady was drafted. So I'm not suggesting, but here's the reason that Jalen Hurts was never, ever drafted to start. You had just signed Carson Wentz to a $38 million contract annually. You drafted a quarterback in the second round to protect yourself because he was starting to get banged up. And that's why you drafted him. You drafted him to be a substitute teacher or somebody that could come in and win games for you. You didn't draft him to be the face of the franchise. It evolved into that. That's what happened. And that's not unprecedented in other places too. Some guys, look at Kirk Cousins. He evolved into being the starter in Washington when they gave that treasure trove of picks away for RG3. Kirk Cousins wasn't expected to start in Washington. But what Mike Shanahan did, he hedged his bets. He took him in the fourth. Remember, he took Kirk Cousins in the fourth. In the same year, he drafted RG3 number 1 overall. He hedged his bets. That's what the Eagles did. They hedged their bets. That's what Howie's notoriously done. He hedges his bets. Nothing wrong with that, actually. Hey, Zeus, I agree, Seals. I think Kenny Pickett can play better with these weapons. Oh, I think he can play better too. To what level? I don't know. Better than Hurts? Hey, I got a feeling one of the reasons they didn't bring Justin Fields in is because they didn't want to have any kind of controversy going on behind the scenes. Justin Fields never had talent like this in Chicago. How do you think he would do? You don't know. He's never had it. Jalen Hurts wouldn't do shit in Chicago. Horrible O-line, worst O-line in football, a defensive-minded head coach calling plays with a coordinator. You had no skill set people in Chicago the entire time he was there. You traded running backs away, and you had a horrible defense. And Chicago's been a shit show. Look what Ryan Poles has done now. I mean, they've built that offense up for Caleb Williams, and they put a lot of talent in there. If that kid doesn't succeed right away, you got a problem in Chicago. You got a problem. I never said Fields over Hurts. I'd like to see what he could do with that talent. That's all I said. He's never had a loaded team. Shit, Carson Wentz didn't have a loaded team. I can't believe people are looking at it like that. He's got a loaded fucking team. It doesn't matter who is backing Hurts. If he F's this up, they will call for the punter to sit behind center. Oh, absolutely. This thing will turn like you won't, but this thing will turn faster than the popularity of Mike Tyson after Indianapolis and Tiger Woods after Orlando. You'll see a turn like you've never seen. If this thing, because you know why? There is absolutely zero excuses. Here's something else. And this is what I really don't like. If he plays well and it's good and they're winning, you got to look at it and go, well, good. They surely set him up for success, and he took advantage of it. Good. Thanking me for not effing it up. Okay. Jalen Hurts has the talent to win the Super Bowl. It's up to the coaches to design the game plan based off of his talent. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Okay. It's up to Jalen Hurts to take control of his team and be a leader and say, this is what I want on a weekly basis. And be accountable for it. Not having coaches to blame. The next time I hear an assistant coach being blamed for Jalen Hurts and his failures, I'm going to say this to you. It's time for him to be a better leader. It's time to be a better leader. This is what I want. He has no accountability. He doesn't stick up for Brian Johnson. He got Brian Johnson fired. Got him fired. That got Kellen Moore fired. Eventually, you got to take accountability. No, it's the coaches and their play designs. Well, say something. I don't like that route tree. Got to get the tight end more involved. We got to do this. We've got to figure a way to get everybody involved. As far as I'm concerned, he's not a very good leader. Because the next time I hear people talking about coaches and excuses about bad plays, that's on his ass. Well, step up and say something, son. Step up and say something. Did Herbert get more fired? No. Jim Harbaugh did, because he's the play calling head coach. They don't need a play caller in Los Angeles. They cleaned house, and Jim brought all his guys in. He's a general manager and head coach of the Chargers. He runs the entire team. Runs everything. Jalen Hurts paid way more than coaches. His voice is more important to ownership. He needs to step up. Andrew, when I hear fans and enablers and people making excuses why he failed, that's an indictment on him. It's an indictment on him. Is it not? Well, the route tree sucked. Say something. Well, we became too predictable. Say something. Well, we weren't running the ball enough. Say something. Just go along with it? That's not a leader. That's not a leader. I heard Andy say this. Okay? You said it yourself, the Eagles would suck with the coordinators. Yeah, because Jalen Hurts is not enough of a leader to overcome bad coaching. Thank you, senor. Absolutely true. Put that up there for me, senor. You said it yourself. Eagles would suck with the coordinators, and he's talking of last year. And I did. I said that because I know the quarterback is not gifted with leadership. He's not going to go. No, he's going to go along. Correct. What was Wentz's excuse? His inability to overcome his own failures. His weakness, not to listen. His inability to adapt. But Joe, one thing is for sure. He did more in Philly than Hurts did with one simple point. He never had the talent around him that Jalen's had. Not at any time. This guy was winning football games with a backup left tackle and a backup right guard. And wide receivers that stunk. It's true. And Joe doesn't even want to admit this. And at the end of the day, this guy threw for $4,000 with not one wide receiver on the team with over 500 yards and receptions. This guy's got two guys that have gone 2 years in a row with over 1,000, and he can't throw for 3,900 yards, 25 touchdowns. Something wrong with that. He's not a gifted thrower. He's just not. You're trying to make him into something he's not. That's my major issue here. He's not that guy. If you throw the ball more this year, he'll have He'll lead the league in interceptions this year. He'll lead the league in interceptions. He's a young man with a $50 million a year deal. His agent should help him learn how to exert his power. He's got a ton of it. He needs to learn to tell the front office to get their shit together. That's correct, Sam. Sam, 7 years of Jalen Hurts at 22 will get you back to the Super Bowl. 10 years of Jalen Hurts, 23, will lead you nowhere. That's like telling me I want to see Lamar Jackson throw the ball 40 times in a game. Baltimore's not going to win with him doing that. They're just not. Okay? Thanks for the $2, LJ. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Jalen can have 3 bad quarters when then you knock him. It wasn't 3 bad quarters. It was a 7-game stretch. He failed. Home field advantage, the NFC East title was on the line. Just fell apart by listening to what Senor says. Bad coaches. He couldn't overcome bad coaches because he didn't have the balls to stand up to him. Kind of the stuff Fletcher Cox talked about. Fletcher Cox kind of has been hitting at that. Leadership is a little bit questionable. That's Fletcher Cox saying it. Oh, Tapeworm says the defense fell apart. So did he. And my suggestions on what to do, I think Xander's more right. Why in the world would I want to give that guy draft picks? Why in the world would I do that? Especially when you're going to be using a majority of them picks on defense that you're awful on. Awful. In the last 5 years, 2 dudes have contributed to your success on defense that you drafted. One's a backup in Milton Williams, and the other one's Josh Sweat. The rest of them are dog shit. And that's not counting, and I even put Nolan Smith in there yet because I said I'm leaving the 23 kids out. I want to roll this back one thing. Again, this week, getting the Devontae Smith structured contract the way you did was brilliant. The frustrating thing on covering your Eagles is that once we're 9 days out to the draft, what's going to change? Vic Fangio? Wasn't he in the building 2 years ago when they drafted Jordan Davis? Wasn't he in there as a consultant? Wasn't he? He was a consultant, right? Yeah. That's some consulting job. The defense looked terrible in that Super Bowl. The Eagles should only move up, not back. They can't pick a good player past 10. I would say this, Sam. If you stay at 22, just pick the best kid available. And the best kid is going to be an offensive tackle. And unfortunately, that doesn't address your defense. In the last 5 years, they've addressed one rush end. That's Josh Sweat. The rest of them have been nowhere. Do I think he'll pick a home run? No. Xander's right. I could give him 20 picks. He won't get it right. He's had nearly 20 draft picks on defense the last 5 years. And Josh Sweat and Milton Williams are the only ones that have had any staying power on that team. Any staying power. Pick another Rager on defense. Get this. I want to show you something here, Sam. As good as the Devontae pick was, the Rager pick was worse. So you kind of balanced it. And you can't use AJ. You went and paid for it. You bought a mercenary. We can make excuses all day about who was the downfall of the team. Everybody failed. Correct. Yes. Okay. LJ says that Howie does all of his damage on defense and free agency. Like who last year? Name one. Who? Shaq Barrett? Zach Cunningham? Nicholas Morrow? Who was the guy Edwards that they signed in the secondary from Pittsburgh? Who are you talking about on defense that he signed that made an impact? Like who? You were the 26th ranked defense in total defense last year. Edmonds, thank you. The 26th total defense. You were 31st against the pass. And you were 30th in scoring defense. What impact did he make in free agency last year on defense? Where are you talking? Where? What's the difference on mercenary player than a player that you get in the draft as long as he produces for you? Once again, Jesus not understanding pro football. I've said it numerous times. You see, Jesus is a 30,000-foot Eagle fan. Someone tell him why signing a guy like A.J. Brown, there you go, Bob, is catastrophic compared to what the Rager miss was. That's right, Flexen, rent, free, correct. You missed he doesn't understand. See a guy like that making a comment? What's the difference in signing a free agent versus drafting and getting it right? Money. The Jalen Rager move cost you a first rounder and $60 million. No. $75 million, Jose. That's what the Jalen Rager deal cost you with his flop. $75 million and a first round pick. And the equity of using a rookie's contract. That's what it is. And that's the difference. The difference is the money, the equity, and the pick. He thinks going out and signing free agents covers the mistake. Doesn't cover the money. Because the money that A.J. Brown has cost, it's impacted the defense. That's why you shop at the dollar store. Seals, you cannot build sustained success with free agency. Is your primary tool in building your franchise. Bob, that's what Jeff Kerr, when he goes on Birds 365 and talks to those guys all the time about it, tells them that. We couldn't afford Jefferson anyway. That's not the point. Yes, you could have. Once again, I'm awake, are you? That's a stupid comment. You would have had that player for 4 years with an option on a rookie contract. Now, if you're saying you couldn't afford it, paying him $35 million now, that's another thing. But you would have had him for 4 years. Once again, you're not knowing what you're talking about. You would have been paying a player $4 million a year instead of $25 million. So you would have said trade Justin Jefferson anyway. Nobody passes on LSU wide receivers for a stupid TCU nobody. You can't name me a player out of TCU offensively outside of Andy Dalton and LaDainian Tomlinson in the last 45 years. Who in the world would draft a guy out of the Big 12 and out of TCU? Who would do that? Over in the LSU, Alabama, or Ohio State wide receiver. Who in their right mind would do that? Oh, I know who. Roseman and Associates. Hey, Roseman and Associates. Look at Senor. That's not a bad one, dude. I would draft better players for Howie for minimum wage and full access to the smoothie bar. I don't know. I'm thinking that's not bad, dog. That's not bad. Titans trade A.J. Brown. Bust Burks. I don't know if Burks. I don't know if Burks is a bust. They didn't use A.J. Brown right in Tennessee. The guy didn't put up great numbers in Tennessee. 63 catches, 1,100 yards. Those aren't spectacular numbers in today's NFL. I mean, he's totally made them look stupid. Totally made them look stupid. Can you believe that Howie Roseman traded Rager and got compensation? That's Howie vision. So look at what Philadelphia said. He traded a first-round pick for a seventh-round pick. Howie vision. Okay. I'm not sure he meant that. Howie vision. Philadelphia said, so you traded the 22nd pick in the NFL for a 7th-round pick. That's Howie vision. Okay. Howie vision. There's value. So I got a 7th rounder in return for the 22nd pick in the draft. Yeah. Howie vision. Damn. Like me some Howie vision. I would sell Sills' Hummer for A.J. Brown. Not me. I like things that are dependable, not whiners. Pretty soon he's going to be calling up Jack Fritz. Is that his name? Tom Fritz? Jack Fritz? What's the guy's name in the afternoon that wants to put on a Broad Street Parade for the guy with ticker tape? Are you okay? AJ, are you okay? We want to thank you so much for calling in and letting us know. Why don't you have some balls and fight back with the guy? Call him soft for calling in, moaning about the media. You make $25 million, guys. Shut up. Jack. Oh, okay, sure. Seals, do you think the Eagles pulled the trigger to trade for Surtain on draft day? I think they're going to try to do that. I do, Kyle. Okay, I do. Oh, no. Isaiah, you're damn right, WIP scared. They're scared of the Eagles. And BL calls them too. Hey, Xander. What's Roseman and Associates? You know what it means to us. You know what? Hey, you want to hear something funny? So we got a call over the weekend from a lady by the name of Marla Axelrod. So we were wondering, because it came from 215. And it went to my wife's phone. I didn't even know how she got it. I looked it up. It was legal counsel for the Eagles. How'd you get my wife's number? So I called it. And the person on the other side didn't answer. But I went, Marla Axelrod. Google it. We called back 3 times. I want to know what they wanted. He said something about our organization. This is what a message was left on my wife's. This is true. My wife goes, who's Marla Axelrod? I go, I don't know. I've never heard of her. We left a message, a text message. You said something about our organization. It's like, sure. Oh, I'm not afraid of anybody. Sills, I agree. IP is scared to talk negatively about the Eagles, except you. But listen, once again, Jesus, it's frustration. You do a ton of things correct. Okay? Ton of things correct. Ton of things. Twisco still sounds like he visits the X-rated site. Dog, Big Sills is not a picture guy. I'm kind of a real life hands-on type operator. Funny pictures and videos don't do much for me because that's not reality. I'm more of a hands-on guy. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things don't move me much. I'm not a picture guy going, ooh, it's never been for me. I'm more of a handsy guy, That's why my lovely wife, has been married to me for 35 years, Twiz. Because you know why? That porn stuff doesn't do shit for me. It doesn't really. Some picture of some dude or some chick in a magazine. Sorry, I was thinking of LJ when I said dude. Some chick in a magazine doesn't really do anything for me. I'm a kind of a hands-on operator there, Best linebacker we can reasonably get in the draft in the second. I think there's going to be 2 guys in there that are good. Yeah, I've been married for 35 years. I'm awake, or you? I know people can't believe it, but I have. I've been married for 35 years to my wife. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I just, hey, LJ, I know you're on them, them kind of places, Hey, big homies. Let me take a time out. Hey, Flexin, let me take a time out here. It's going in the wrong direction. Let me reset it. Let me reset this bad puppy here, man. I appreciate everybody coming aboard. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and certainly the easiest when you're watching the NBA. And the NBA playoffs are almost here, and you can win money making picks. What are you waiting for? Sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com and use the promo code WIN. An Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN. Get ready for the NBA and get ready for the NBA playoffs. Go to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code WIN.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Mike Little was a union construction worker who was badly injured when he suffered a horrific fall because of someone's negligence. His life would change forever.
It was just a real downward spiral with everything you do, and you're sitting home by yourself all day. You can't go out because you can't drive, you can't walk well. It was just a horrible situation.
Call Brian Fritz at the Fritz and Beyond Cooley Law Firm at 215-548-2222.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Most interesting teams in 2024, this coming year. Who will some of those teams be? I wrote a list down here of some of those teams. Let me get that list. Where are they? Here we go. I got the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be an interesting ball team. I like that too, senor. I got the Texans. Let me see what you got here. I'm going to go off you, senor. Chuck, I don't have the Lions on there. That's not bad. Jesus has Green Bay. I have Green Bay 10th. I got Jets 1. Texans, you could put them under. That's going to be interesting to watch. Jets are a hype train. Bills 32. Packers and Lions. I don't have the Lions on here. I got the Packers 10. I got the Jets 1. I got the Steelers at number 2. I'd like to see what happens with Russell Wilson. Got the Cowboys at 3. Can I tell you this? Hey, 304. I hate to tell you this, man. I don't think the Cowboys are making the playoffs. I just don't think the Cowboys are making the playoffs. I got the Bears at 4. Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Do they get Bowers or do they go OT? Did they get an edge at 9? Wide receiver again? I don't know. Yeah, Jesus, Bears. Number 1 overall picks going there. I got Kansas City 5. They're going to try to do something no team in the Super Bowl era has ever done. So let me ask you this. Are you betting Kansas City? Xander, you too on this one. Are you taking the field or the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl? Are you betting against Mahomes? And Reed and Spagnuolo for an unprecedented third time. They're chasing history. Taking the field? Probably a safe bet. Is it? Mahomes is beating everybody, no matter how much money you spend. Like the Eagles could spend all the money. They could. What's that thing that JAKIB put out? You could spend $400 million. It's not good enough to beat them. A lot must go their way. I'll take the field. A lot has to go their way. You mean like last year? Had to go on the road. No receivers whatsoever. A 7th-round running back. And a rookie-laden defense. If you were going to beat Kansas City, you had to beat them this past season. Not next season, when they're going to be more experienced. And you've added Hollywood Brown. By the way, that move that Kansas City made by adding Hollywood Brown, someone would go, well, he's not a top-flight wideout. Dude, he's better than what they had a year ago. He's an upgrade. That's what I'm talking about when you had Reddick. They upgraded the position of wide receiver with Hollywood Brown. That's when you know your quarterback is off the charts. Great. I mean, Hollywood Brown is a good player, above average, and it was an upgrade. Dude, that's when you know your QB is so gifted and so talented. I got Baltimore, the Niners. I got Philly in here. Bob says this. Seals, Chargers and Harbaugh. Chargers, you got to put the Chargers in there. Absolutely. Bills will be better. Jets, you see Aaron Rodgers is at organized team activities this week. 25 teams are in organized team activities this week, which is great because it now really starts the beginning of preparing for the upcoming 24 season. King Henry, and I'll take the field. Taking the field. Dude. Taking the field versus Mahomes. Going for a third straight NFL championship and third straight Super Bowl. Let me say this to you. If Andy Reid wins the third straight Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes wins a third straight Super Bowl, that will be the greatest run in NFL history. And I will say he's better than Tom Brady. 3 straight NFL championships, that would be number 4. And some go like this. Yeah, but Brady's got 7. Well, do people think that Jack Nicklaus is better than Tiger? I don't. Jack was in a watered-down field. Wasn't as deep as the field that Tiger played in. Sure, Tiger has now all the modern-day technology on his side with the golf ball and the clubs. And Jack finished, 19 times second place in major championships alone. Tiger has 100 wins on the PGA Tour. I mean, make the argument Tiger's the greatest. Twiz goes, Montana, the GOAT, never lost. He's the Jordan of the NFL. You know, Bradshaw too, Twiz. Okay. They will surpass Bill and Tom. I think they will. If you do 3 straight, that'll be the greatest team accomplishment in NFL history. Right now, I think the greatest football team in NFL history are the Dolphins that went to 3 Super Bowls and won 2 of them, and one of them was undefeated. Okay, I think that team was the greatest team of all time because their run, no one's ever seen it. Now, the 4-6 with the Steelers is right there as well. Taylor goes like this. Tiger's washed up now. You know what's funny about watching Tiger and the Masters? The Masters had great ratings in the first 2 rounds. Why? Because of Tiger. Tiger Woods can finish last, which he did at every single major event going forward. And it won't matter. You know why? He's Tiger Woods. Mike Tyson can fight exhibition fights with Jake Paul and get $100 million. You know why? He's Mike Tyson. Those people live in your sports memory cells forever. It doesn't matter what they do, how old they are. Those people are needle movers. It doesn't matter. Okay? Seals, can you imagine if UGA had completed the three-peat, got screwed out of it, in which they did, and KC does it too? Greatest era of football. I get this. I think Georgia would have beat Michigan in the national title game. Xander, do you think that? I mean, didn't they hang 70 on FSU? Clemson or didn't Georgia hang like 60 on somebody, right? FSU? Personally, you want to know why I think that the higher-ups in B didn't want Georgia in the national championship game? I mean, I think people around the country didn't want another Southeastern Conference team playing for the national championship. They didn't want 2 of them. Pick one, Bama and Georgia. You get one or the other. You don't get both. Both should have went. But Michigan would not have beaten Georgia. And Georgia would have had – they lost 1 game in 3 years by 3 points to Alabama, who went to overtime with Michigan. Really? And you didn't let that team fight it out for a 3rd straight title. Criminal. Completely criminal. Georgia fatigue, Bob? Probably so. Probably so. And I think politics played a factor in that. Georgia, South, Trump, all that. There's an NFL draft coming up, by the way. And Chris, hey, Chris, there's an NFL draft coming up. Does that mean Nolan Smith? We finally agree, Sills. We finally agree? All right, good. I'm in. I'm good. I'm in. All right. Yeah. I'll tell you something, man. I don't know what's going on in this. I'm going to start charging people when they start acting up. Come on, flexing. Come on now. Finally a draft after 6 years of waiting. Hey, Taylor, what do you mean finally a draft after 6 years of waiting? Okay. Bill's Mafia is like, hey, man, very respectful chat I've seen, full of mature people. I'm with you, man. Hey, Flexin, Jesus criminy, you look like you're at my family dinner table throwing F-bombs around and having a disgusting discussion and upsetting everybody when they're trying to eat their gabagool. Crazy. And you wanted, and he even has a wrench. Yeah. Draft beer, not picks. Hey, hey, Chuck. Hey, Chuck, if I were Howie and Roseman and Associates, I'd be picking beers before I'd be picking players on defense. You know, Foster Lager, it's really a potent beer, and you get a lot of it. You got to control your emotions, fans. Oh, listen to Flexin. Flexin's like, and I seen this guy throwing shit around. Okay? Dude, Flexin and Twiz are troublemakers. Hey, Twiz, guess who's on tomorrow? Oh, boy. Hang on. I forgot to tell you guys. Okay? Twiz, are you in here? Do you guys want to talk shit tomorrow on Dallas Cowboy fans? You're going to get your chance. This is going to, I'm looking for you guys to do me a favor tomorrow. Senor, I'm going to need you. Now, look, guys, Big Sills talk shit to you guys. However, we can't have Cowboy guys tomorrow talking shit. So you guys looking forward to it? Okay. So this is what we're going to do tomorrow. Mark Holmes is coming on at 3:30 every Wednesday. We're simulcasting in Dallas with his gigantic Dallas Cowboy audience. And do not get beat tomorrow. I can't have it. I can't have it. 3:30 Eastern tomorrow. You cannot let Cowboy fans own you. If it looks it, no, senor. We'll do all that. You guys will get, I'll take your questions. I'll take your questions. 3:30 tomorrow. Taylor. No. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It's a simulcast. He's going to get his audience up. He's got like over 100,000 subscribers. And we're going to do this every Wednesday in both Dallas and in Philadelphia. And we're going to start a war. Remember what they said about Big Sills in Sports Illustrated? +1 for quotability. -3 for inciting a riot. Yeah. Okay? Hey, Twiz, you got your wish. Yeah, but his fans, Twiz, are in Dallas. His mom has 50% of those fake accounts. Good. Okay, good. I want everybody to get ready to roll. Come with material. Okay? This is very important. This is important to me. I think I'm going to unleash you guys. I think you're ready. Tomorrow, 3:30, you're going to be talking to Cowboy fans. And they're going to talk shit to you. Okay? Troublemaker Sills. Hey, Steve, this is when you and me are going to be on the same team here. Denny, we're going to all be on the same team here. Thank you, Jesus. I appreciate it. Good sport. All good. All right. So that's there on the table tomorrow. I appreciate everybody coming aboard. Please hit the like button. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Should be very interesting. Okay? And we'll see you on the flip side.